City A, Dragon Country, Blue Star. The sun was shining over the modern city. People were walking along the street sidewalk. Among them was the main character, a guy with dark hair, who walked with his hands in his pants pockets. Black boots walked on the asphalt. The guy raised his head up in amazement and noticed a huge shadow approaching. The guy with red hair asked what was happening and why it got dark so suddenly. The girl, pointing her hand upward, asked what it was. The main character frowned, turned around, and asked what they were all looking at. Looking up, he exclaimed in amazement. Among the dark clouds, there was a bright light shining on the skyscrapers. People panicked and shouted that aliens were attacking the Blue Star and it was the end of the world. Some people in the crowd began to run away, abandoning their cars on the road, shouting that something strange was appearing in the sky. Something fell from the sky to the ground. Blue energy appeared in front of the main character and he asked what it was. Blue energy formed a dialogue box in front of him. Someone asked if anyone else could see this screen in front of them. The main character, looking around, saw that other people also had blue dialogue boxes in front of them. Looking at the dialogue box, he asked if he should try touching it and whether it was augmented reality technology. Touching the dialogue box with his palm, he asked what kind of country had such advanced technology to do this. The dialogue box says, "A world of chaos will soon open." The main character exclaimed that words appeared here. He looked at the dialogue box, breaking out in a cold sweat. Tears of fear appeared in the eyes of the girl with blonde hair. The man with red hair fearfully hugged his daughter. The guy with the earring grinned self-confidently. The dialogue box says, "A world of carnage will soon open, celestial chaos." There were many different monsters on the stones, be it horned demons, creatures in black clothes with a sword, harpies, dragons, insects, or wild beasts. Healthy people aged 50 years from all over the world will be simultaneously transported into the heavenly chaos. This is a place where you can meet fierce giant beasts. There are demons everywhere and different races coexist. It's full of murder and disaster, but also filled with treasure and opportunity. The silhouette of a man with a spear stood on top of a rock strewn with the corpses of monsters. The system said that here they could die at any second, but also gain eternal life. Streams of blue energy, shrouded in electricity, descended from the sky onto the city streets. Transparent tubes covered people on the street. The guy, knocking on the walls of the tube, asked what was happening. The little girl threw her stuffed animal on the ground and banged on the walls of the tube, screaming for her mother. Blue pixels began to surround people's bodies, shrouded in blue light. The main character asked that an alien invasion had actually begun on the Blue Star. Raising his head, he swore and asked what was happening here. The system alert says, "This is the Blue Star's only chance for salvation. Good luck, people. World chaos begins." The dialogue box says, "Welcome to Rookie Village number 911. Each village has a starting population of 1,000 people." The main character began to fall from the sky. He looked down in fear. In his fall, he flew through several clouds. He smashed his body through the roof of a wooden building. Lying on the floor in a stupid position, he said that this world is not very friendly. Standing up and leaning his back against the wall, he said that since he appeared here out of nowhere, then all these strange things said about the mortal world were true. The dialogue boxes say, "You are in a newbie's house. The newcomer's house is blessed by the heavenly way. No one can enter it without your consent. Resting in a newbie's home doubles the rate of recovery of physical strength and energy." On the dialogue box in front of the main speaker, it is written that from now on the Changdao screen is available to him. Looking at the holographic interface, he said that it was like the interface in games. Turning his head to the side, he said that there was also a screen with personal information. On the status window, Qin Feng's stats were written: Strength 8, Agility 9, Energy 28, Endurance 8. Folding his arms across his chest, he thoughtfully said his stats. He decided that he should first look into the general chat channel and see what other people were talking about. While pressing the button, Qin Feng said that he couldn't even press the World Channel button. He asked if this meant that after certain conditions were met, everyone would be able to communicate on this channel, including other rookie villages. People in the chat were panicking, asking how they got here and trying to find their loved ones. The girl tearfully asked if they had all been kidnapped and if the government would come to rescue them. Various people of different ages screamed in panic that they had been captured by aliens for experiments. Someone shouted that he had read such a short story, but he just didn't understand which of them would be the main character. The main character read how, amidst the panic, someone told everyone that they could look at their personal information in the system, and then decide together how to get out of here. They started discussing their characteristics. Zhang Feng said that they all seemed to have the same combat rating. Wan Qian said that he has shown that his battle rating has almost reached 2 stars. Zhang Feng asked how he was doing in the 4 parameters. Wang Qian said that his strength is 18, agility 13, endurance 14, energy 7. Scratching the back of his head with a smile, he said that he is a boxing fan and trains on his own from time to time, and perhaps that is why his performance is so high. Looking at their stats window, Qin Feng said that it seems that the combat rating is dependent on all 4 stats, and by increasing them, they can raise their combat rating and increase their chances of survival. He said that now most people have it rated at 1 star. Only a few people have reached the 1-star limit, and based on the information received from others, the average value of each indicator of an ordinary person is about 10 points or less. Looking at his stats window, he said that his strength, agility, and stamina were all under 10 points, and probably because he's so skinny, the values are a little lower. He said that the highest energy of the others so far is 13 points, which is less than half of his energy, and he doesn't know what it does, but it's definitely good for him. The system announced that they will now awaken their innate talent based on the indicators of 4 parameters. Tilting his head slightly to the side, Qin Feng asked about awakening his innate talent. The dialogue boxes say, innate talents are divided into 9 ranks: F, E, D, C, B, A, S, SS, SSS. F rank is the weakest, SSS rank is the strongest. SS rank and above are classified as unique classes. People in the chat asked about awakening talent. Someone said that only 1 person can awaken unique level talents. That is, no 2 people will have the same abilities. The system asked the main character if he wanted to awaken his talent. Pressing the button, Qin Feng said that of course you need to select the yes button. He found himself in a starry space full of blue spheres. Floating in space, defying gravity, he found himself upside down. One of the spheres rushed sharply towards him, and he dodged. Looking around, the main character said that he had moved to another strange place. He asked what all these balls were there for. Rubbing his chin, he said that based on his years of experience reading fantasy novels, these balls of light have something to do with awakened talents. Dodging another sphere, he said that a strong talent should be in a ball with a special color, and he must find it. Surrounded by mysterious blue spheres, the main character opened his eyes in amazement. He noticed the movement of another sphere. The sphere hit him in the stomach at high speed, leaving a trail of blue energy in space. The main character gritted his teeth in pain. A sphere of light entered his body, and he asked what it was. Surrounded by a whirlwind of blue energy, he opened his mouth wide. The system congratulated him on awakening an SSS-Ranked talent, Endless Extraction. Qin Feng opened his eyes in shock. He was breathing heavily, and the system explained, Infinite Extraction, you can use extraction on any target, receiving a random effect. Frowning, the main character said that a random effect is too vague an explanation, and apparently, we will have to find an opportunity to experiment to find out the result. The dialogue box that appeared in front of him said, the awakening of this rookie village's talents has been completed. 787 people have awakened an F-rank talent. 194 people have awakened an E-rank talent. People in the chat were admiring C-rank and D-rank talents, saying that it was almost impossible to get an SSS rank. Qin Feng said that the majority have F and E-rank talents. Less than 2% of the people in this rookie village have obtained a D-rank talent, but he has an SSS rank talent, which is extremely rare. He said that C-rank and above talent was awakened by 2 people, including him. He asked who the second person was then, what level of talent he had, and whether he had the same SSS rank as him. Luke Xuan wrote in the chat, he awakened a C-rank talent, Magnetic Field Control. People exclaimed that it sounded amazing, and they wanted to go along with it. People were discussing the probabilities of the power of the second unknown's talent, and the protagonist thoughtfully said that a C-rank talent was very highly valued. Frowning, he said that if he revealed this exaggerated SSS rank talent, there would come a time when he would not be welcomed with open arms. Frowning his brows with determination, he said that, after all, in this bloody world full of murder, SSS rank talent is his main support and a trump card that cannot be shown to anyone. The system informed them that from now on they could leave their houses and enter the rookie village, and in 10 seconds the rookie test would begin. Those who do not meet the requirements will be eliminated. The dialogue boxes say, advice for development. Hunt all kinds of beasts, demons and monsters, collecting the energy necessary for development. Newbie weapons have become available for equipping, please check. While taking out the sword from the dialogue box, Kim Fong said that this Tiangdao system screen has no physical form, but it can store physical objects, and it is as if it is really in the game. The dialogue boxes say, Novice Short Sword, Attack Power +2, Rusty Short Sword, a must-have for every beginner, Level 0 item. Tip, attack power is calculated using the strength indicator. 1 point of strength increases the attack power by 1. The main character, holding the sword in his hands, decided to try to swing it. He made 2 swings with the blade. He said thoughtfully that it wasn't bad at all, and after just swinging it a couple of times, it seemed to him that he could easily kill a bull with this short sword, and this was just the effect of the extra 2 attack units. He said that if this sword was improved by 30 units in the future, it would become incredibly strong. Frowning, he asked how he could do this. Smirking, Kin Fong said that he would test his innate talent on this sword. The system reported that infinite retrieval was activated. Blue flames enveloped the blade. A strong gust of wind blew, lifting the main character's hair up. The sword in his hand began to shine. The dialogue box says, infinite extraction was successful. You removed the rust and sediment from your novice short sword, so it was turned into a refined steel sword. Attack power +5, level 1 item. Touching the blade with his hand, the protagonist said that it was amazing, because just one use of his talent increased the level of the beginner's short sword from 0 to 1 and increased its attack bonus to 5 units. He said to use it again and see what happens. He raised his sword upward, activating his innate talent, and they were enveloped in blue energy. Nothing happened and the blue energy around him dissipated. Kin Fong remained silent and only frowned with displeasure. The dialogue box says, infinite extraction failed. The target quality is too low and the extraction limit has been reached. The main character said in disappointment that, of course, this ability had a limit, and if he could actually constantly improve by endlessly extracting, it would be a bug. He gripped the hilt of the sword tightly in his hand. Swinging his sword, he struck the wooden wall. Smiling with satisfaction, Kin Feng said that for a beginner, his weapon was much better than everyone else's. The main character heard admiring and amazed voices from outside. Frowning his brows, he said that the others were leaving their houses. Opening the door, he said that he would also go out and look at the world on the other side of the door. He took a determined step outside, illuminated by the sunlight. Pterodactyls flew in the sky above the 911 rookie village, surrounded by mountains and trees. Someone exclaimed that if they fail to reach level 10, they will be exterminated, and this world is terrible. Someone else said that the Changdao system forces them to go out and kill monsters. The main character was standing on the street among wooden buildings, and someone exclaimed that he wanted to die, while someone else was angry at him for making noise. People discussed their low-ranking talents. Looking at the huge rectangular portal, they asked what was inside. Someone said it's better not to go there alone to check. The guys carefully touched the portal with their hands. Kin Feng, sweating nervously, thought, this must be the exit from the newcomer village, beyond which lies a world of murder and bloodshed. Standing behind a crowd of different people, he wondered who would be the first to step outside this light barrier. A loud explosion sounded behind them, raising a cloud of dust. Turning around, the main character wondered if it was some kind of animal. A bald man stood in the center of the crater. Kin Feng thought that it was that guy with 1-star combat power, Wang Kaiyan. Enthusiastic people asked what his talent was. Wang Kaiyan's eyes widened in embarrassment. Smirking smugly, he said that his D-rank talent was called Furious Strength, and it could triple his strength when used. The main character thought that as far as he remembered, Wang Kaiyan said that he had 18 strength. He thought that after using his talent, his strength rating should increase to 54. No wonder he was able to break a boulder with 1 punch, and with such an attack power, he should definitely be among the top 10 strongest in the entire village of rookie number 911. People exclaimed that this is a D-rank talent. No wonder Wang Kaiyan is so strong. Above the trees, someone was heard to say that Wang Kaiyan's initial combat power had reached the limit of 1 star, and he had awakened a D-rank talent. he would definitely become stronger and stronger. Wang Qian laughed smugly. He thought that now all the sweat and hard work in the past had paid off for him, and in this deadly world, he, Wang Qian, would have the best time of his life. The guy said that there is still a C-ranked Luke Xuan here, and he wonders how strong he is. Another guy said that he was jealous of those two who had awakened C-ranked talents. Wang Qian thought dissatisfiedly what was so special about C-ranked talents. He thought that in this world of survival of the fittest, what matters is who has the most brute strength. Raising his hand up, Wang Qian told everyone to listen. He said that he was going to leave the village to let them see how strong the monsters were outside. People exclaimed in admiration that he was very fearless. Wang Qian entered the blue portal. The main character thought that he had only muscles and no brains at all, and he should not lead everyone at such a time if he did not have complete confidence that he would survive. Wang Qian found himself in a dark forest. Cursing at C-rank and Luke Xuan, he asked if they didn't understand that only a strong hand rules this world. He said that when he kills the beast, he will show them who is in charge. Noticing movement from the side, he asked what it was. Looking around, Wang Qian said that someone had definitely passed by and asked if it was a monster. The silhouette of a huge beast stood behind him. Turning around in fear, he asked what it was standing behind him. The enraged beast looked at him with an angry gaze. The system reported that newcomer Wang Qian had been killed by a level 1 beast, the Bloody Rabbit. People looked at the dialogue box that appeared on the portal. The next dialogue box had a reminder. The combat rating of level 1 beasts is 3 stars, level 2 beasts are 4 stars, level 3 beasts are 5 stars, and so on. Someone shouted in horror that this was the same Wang Qian who was able to break the boulder with one blow. Someone else said that even Wang Qian could not survive there, and if they came out, they would simply go to slaughter. People looked down in despair. The dialogue boxes say, battle rating is calculated only from the main 4 parameters, not taking into account innate talents. The village's protective barrier will keep the beasts out, but they will be able to enter the village when the newcomer's protection period ends. Gritting his teeth, the protagonist thought that Wang Qian was killed by the weakest level 1 beast in less than 5 minutes after leaving the village, and the difficulty of surviving in this world is much higher than he thought. A shadow fell on his face, and he thought that, moreover, in order to prevent people from hiding in the newcomer village, Tang Dao also reminded everyone that the protective barrier would fall. Looking at the portal, he thought that if the Tang Dao system gave so many clues, then it was unlikely that it had set an impossible task for beginners, and there must be more options to pass the test. He thought, if a 3-star beast faced 4 1-star people, which one would win and which one would lose? The guy, raising his hand, shouted that they couldn't just wait here to die, and they needed to kill monsters and evolve, otherwise he would all definitely die. Someone suggested forming groups and said that they are stronger when they work together, and that way they are more likely to survive. The dark-haired guy told the others to come to him if they wanted to survive and show their characteristics and natural talents so they could work better together. Several people named their talents. The guy in the red shirt turned around and told the 3 people to prepare their weapons and be ready. The guy in sweatpants said hello, approaching the main character. Scratching the back of his head, he said that it looked like he was all alone. He asked if he wanted to team up with him. After passing him, Qin Feng refused. Holding the hilt of the sword in his hand, he thought that working together was a good idea, but it was not for him, and he had to hide his innate talent until he became strong enough. Frowning his brows, he thought that 15 minutes had already passed since the first group entered. He took a deep breath. Entering the portal, the main character thought that now was the time to raise a few levels. Qin Feng found himself among the huge trees in the dark forest and thought that this is what the world looks like outside. Climbing over the huge roots, he looked around. Walking under the branches of the trees, he thought that this environment awakened some kind of primitive feelings. Smiling awkwardly, he thought that he felt as if a dinosaur might pounce on him from the bushes at any moment. He sniffed. Turning around, the main character thought that something smelled disgustingly here. Having walked a little forward, he stopped. When he discovered the body, he thought it was Wang Qian. There was a pool of blood under his palm. There was also a pool of blood under his head. Lowering his head, Qin Feng thought that this fool died because of his recklessness. Turning around, he thought that when he saw his corpse, he suddenly realized that he too could die at any moment in this world. With a determined frown, he said that if he wanted to stay alive, he had to be careful as he continued to build up his strength. Thinking about increasing his strength, he stopped and widened his eyes. The main character turned around. Crouching next to the corpse, he said that he needed to see if it would actually work. The system reported the use of infinite extraction, and a bright blue light flashed in his palm. The dialog box says, "Infinite extraction was successful. You have obtained a D-rank talent, Violent Strength." Qin Feng thought that it worked, and he was actually able to extract Wang Kaiyan's innate talent. The dialog boxes contained descriptions of his talents. Furious Strength, Strength Enhancement Talent, when used, increases your strength by 3 times. Looking at the corpse, the protagonist thought that he originally had 8 strength, which meant that after using the talent, it would increase to 24. Smirking, he thought that he could instantly become twice as strong as an average adult. Straightening up, he thought that this was the way to use his SSS-Ranked innate talent. Birds flew from the trees, and he thought that over time he could gain 100, 1,000, and even 10,000 innate talents. Clenching his fist, shrouded in blue energy, Qin Feng thought that with all these innate talents, he would reach the pinnacle of human capabilities, and the feeling of becoming stronger was very exciting. Taking a look at the dead Wang Kaiyan, he said that he was very strong, but his speed and defense were poor, and he was also reckless, did not evaluate the situation, and thoughtlessly went outside to hunt monsters, so he died. Picking up his sword from the ground, he said that this is why, for most people, cooperation compensates for everyone's weaknesses and helps them survive in this deadly world. White energy enveloped the blade. The system reported using infinite retrieval. Waving his sword, the main character said that this did not apply to him. The dialog box says, "Infinite extraction was successful. You have removed the rust and sediment from your novice short sword. Your novice short sword has been turned into a refined steel sword." Qin Feng thought that with endless extraction, he would get rid of all his weaknesses. He looked at the dead ferocious beast lying on the ground. He said that it was probably the first-level blood rabbit that killed Wang Kaiyan. Kneeling down, he said that judging by his wounds, he could have died from blows to the back after he was surrounded. By activating infinite retrieval, he gained 2 power points. A flash of light flashed, and the main character exclaimed that he could even increase his stats like this. And with these 2 power points, his power stat was now the same as that of a normal adult. Straightening up, he said that if he used violent power, it would increase to 30, and if he met more similar monsters and gained more power, he could quickly reach, and maybe even surpass, Wang Kaiyan's power. He asked how many times he could extract. The system reported that infinite retrieval was activated. The dialog boxes say, "Infinite extraction failed. On anything below level 20, extraction can only be applied once. You have already reached the limit." Qin Feng said that it is the same as with the beginner's sword. He said that as long as it was possible to search for other corpses, he could use infinite extraction again. Frowning his brows, he said that that group of people must have killed many ferocious beasts along the way, and if he just followed them, perhaps he would find more corpses. He said that he needed to follow a large group, because this way he could find more monsters. Starting to walk forward, the main character said that he would simply follow the path where there were the most tracks. The system notified that newcomer Liu was killed by a level 1 giant rodent. Qin Feng stood among the tall grass. He tensed up and exclaimed that one person had died, and he was in the group. He said that when he used extraction on Wang Kaiyan's corpse, his innate talent was obtained, and the blood rabbit gave him 2 strength points. Raising his head, he said that humans and beasts are different, but first-level beasts are too weak. They do not have any innate talents, and they rely on brute force, so he only managed to gain a few stat points. Climbing onto the branches, he said that in that case, he also needed to find Liu's corpse, and maybe he would gain another innate talent that would be more valuable than characteristics. Standing on a tree branch, he said that he was not entirely sure where exactly Liu's group had gone. Looking around, Qin Feng said that accidents usually happen in the direction with fewer people. Liu's group could go that way, and he will check if he finds anything on that road. The system reported that Zhu Cheng was killed by a level 1 vicious beast, a giant rodent. Gritting his teeth, the main character exclaimed that another one had died, and that the same giant rodent had killed him. He said it was likely they both died in the same place. Stepping forward, he said that it seemed like they were in a situation worse than he had imagined, and it was something they couldn't handle. causing 2 people to die in a row. Walking along the tree branch, the main character wondered if he should go there. A cold wind blew between the trees. The main character clicked his tongue. Jumping down from the tree, he said that in this deadly world, if he is weak and continues to be so, he will end up like a fish on a platter that will be eaten. And in this world, anyone can die at any time. Having landed, he said that he wants to survive. You need to understand the logic of the phrase that wealth comes from risks and great danger. Straightening up, he walked towards the grass. A black bird flew over the grass. The main character made his way through the tall grass. Hiding in the grass, he thought that this was a dangerous world in which you could die if you stumbled just once. Frowning, he thought that the place he was going to was incredibly dangerous. He thought that he needed to be extremely careful. Looking down, Qin Feng thought that the smell of blood was getting stronger, and it seemed like it was almost here. He parted the grass in front of his face. Seeing the corpse of a man wearing an apron, he thought that it was most likely Zhu Cheng, who was killed by a giant rodent. Seeing the corpse of a woman in a yellow tank top, he thought that Liu. Looking out from the grass, the main character thought that somewhere nearby there might be a ferocious beast of the first level with a battle rating of 3 stars. While he only had 1 star, under normal conditions he was no match for him. Seeing something, he opened his mouth in shock. When he saw the huge rat, he thought it was a level 1 giant rodent. Smirking, the main character thought that he was no match for him. He sat crouched in the grass. Looking at the bleeding rodent, he thought that, fortunately, it was seriously injured, and both its legs were broken. Slowly approaching the monster, the main character thought that killing it would be much easier. Stepping forward, squinting, he counted the remaining distance. The system reported the use of violent force. Jumping out of the grass, the main character swung his sword and shouted to the monster to die. A huge paw of a monster was approaching him. The sword fell out of the protagonist's hand. The beast and the main character looked at each other with concentrated gazes. Swinging his sword, shrouded in energy, Qin Feng said that a beast is always a beast, and there is a limit to their intelligence. The light shone on the monster's head. A beam of energy hit the rodent's body. The main character plunged his sword into the monster. The monster raised its head up. Qin Feng swung his fist shrouded in blue energy. He hit the beast's face with his fist. The monster died, and the main character, dusting off his hands, exhaled and said that he did not expect that sneaking up on a seriously wounded giant rodent could be so dangerous. He said that he underestimated her attention, and now he will be more careful. Smoke was coming from the beast's body. The main character turned around with a perplexed expression on his face. The system reported that he had successfully killed a level 1 rodent and received 30 energy points. Blue energy enveloped his hand, and he asked about the power obtained after killing a level 1 beast. He said that he felt so warm, as if all his fatigue had gone away. A dialogue box appeared in front of him, and he exclaimed in amazement. Looking at his status window, Qin Feng said that after killing the giant rodent, his level 1 status changed to 30 out of 100. He grabbed the hilt of the sword protruding from the beast's body, pulling the sword out of the monster. He thought this was a good start. The main character straightened up, and a strong gust of wind blew, carrying grass and leaves through the air. By using infinite retrieval on the beast's corpse, he gained 2 agility points. Qin Feng said that his agility has risen to 11 points. The stat points obtained from the first level wild beasts are too few, and should try to find the second level wild beasts. Approaching one of the corpses, he said that now he would get what he really came for. A white flash flashed. The dialogue box says, "Infinite extraction was successful. You have received an F-rank talent, enhanced sense of smell." Looking at his palm, the protagonist said that this was a low-level talent, improving one of the 6 senses, enhancing the sense of smell. Enhanced smell, a talent that increases your sense of smell tenfold when used. Wiping his nose with his finger, Qin Feng said that this talent may be useless to others, but he really needs it. While removing the apron from the corpse, he said that the forest was quite dense, and it would be difficult to look for corpses. Tearing the apron off the corpse, he said that with this talent he would be able to find them by the stench they emitted. Having laid it on the ground, the main character said that with it, he could smell wild animals in the distance, which would help him avoid danger in advance. Placing the swords on his apron, he exclaimed that he was very fortunate to obtain this talent now, and not even an hour had passed since the test began, and his strength and agility had reached the standard of an adult. He used infinite extraction. Blue energy enveloped his hands, and he said that considering the other 3 talents he had obtained, the total combat strength should already reach 2 stars. It might even be at the peak of 2 stars. He added that, however, the combat strength rating of the Changdao system panel only takes into account the values of 4 characteristics, which is why, at first glance, his combat strength is still at 1 star. The dialog box says, "Infinite extraction was successful. You have removed the rust and sediment from your novice short sword. Your novice short sword has been turned into a refined steel sword." After wrapping the swords in cloth, Qin Feng said that it seems that the assessment of combat strength given by Changdao can only be used as a reference and should not be relied upon too much. He put the sword behind his back. He looked forward resolutely. The system reported activation of the enhanced sense of smell. The main character closed his eyes in concentration. The smells swirled around him. Above the grass, a dark smell approached him. Frowning his brows, Qin Feng raised his head towards the smells. Covering his face with his hand, he thought that after increasing his sense of smell 10 times, he was sick of this stench. Relaxing his hand, he mentally told himself to calm down and not worry, because he just needed to slowly get used to it and distinguish each smell. He spread his legs wide and concentrated. He felt a light aroma creeping among the plants. Leaning forward slightly, the main character thought it was the smell of dirt. Then he recognized the smell of flowers. Feeling something unusual, he lowered his head. Qin Feng suddenly began to run across the grass. Opening his eyes, he thought that there was someone nearby. A guy with blonde hair was running away from a giant rat. Blue energy enveloped the beast. Hitting the ground, it threw the guy aside. The guy in the orange jacket shouted, "Now!" The guys rushed to attack the monster from all sides. They struck with their swords and killed the rat, landing on the opposite side. The system reported that they had successfully killed a level 1 rodent and received 30 energy points. The guys, standing around the dead giant rat, said that their group was unlucky to encounter 2 giant rodents at once, and they were taken by surprise. One of them, agreeing, said that they were all injured and, unfortunately, 2 members of their group died. He said that if it had not been for the quick thinking of the leader who told them to attack after retreating, luring him out and surrounding him here, they too would have died. The leader told them to stop being silent and go finish off the wounded giant rat. The guys agreed and suggested that they hurry there before no one else found it. The main character, watching them from the grass, thought that the 2 killed they were talking about were most likely the girl in the black top and the fat boss on whom he used the extraction. He thought since he had already killed their giant rodent, it would be best to quickly get out of here before he got into trouble. The system reported that speed boost was in use. Preparing to run away, Qin Feng apologized. Running forward, surrounded by a blue aura, he said that in this world of bloodshed, virtues like pity and humanity could cost him his life, and he must do everything to survive. A blue flash flashed over the horizon. For more than 3 hours, while the others were hard at work killing the beasts, he wandered around to understand the situation in this newcomer plane. There are 5 types of first-level beasts encountered here: giant rodent, bloody rodent, gray plains wolf, mad boar, and extremely poisonous 9-ringed snake. Looking at the dead beast, the main character thought that this was the 4th mad boar on which he had used the extraction. The system reported that the retrieval limit was reached, and the retrieval failed. Qin Feng opened his mouth in shock. The system reminded that after 3 successful extractions of identical first-level animals, the extraction limit is reached. The main character said that he had already used extraction 3 times on all the beasts except the 9-ringed poisonous snake, and it seems that now he should focus on finding it. On the ground in front of him lay the corpse of a guy. Sitting down next to him, Qin Feng said that in the last hour, Changdao had announced 7 deaths, but he only found this 1 corpse, and compared with the stat points obtained from wild beasts, human talents should be more difficult to obtain. By using infinite extraction, he gained an E-rank talent, Vision Enhancement. The main character looked at his stats window. Smiling, he said that his combat strength had reached 2 stars, and he was absolutely confident that he could defeat a level 1 wild beast alone. A purple mist approached him. Qin Feng turned around, frowning. He exclaimed joyfully that it was the smell of a 9-ringed poisonous snake. He ran very quickly towards the smell. The main character said that he smells something else, similar to flowers or fruits. A huge snake wrapped its body around a high rock. Qin Feng looked out from behind the tree and said that it was the same scent that he smelled earlier. Seeing the flower, he said that it seems like this poisonous snake is protecting it. And with such a scent and a fierce beast protecting it, this fruit seems to be here for a reason. Hiding behind a tree, he said that this snake is the strongest level 1 beast in the novice plane, giving 40 energy points. As he pulled out his sword, he thought it was a good catch. The serpent's blue eyes sparkled in the sun. The snake turned its head towards the main character. Qin Feng frowned and thought that he had been discovered. Opening its mouth, the snake rushed to attack, sticking out its tongue. The main character, jumping to the side, thought what was happening and why it was so slow. Gritting his teeth, he wondered if it was really so lethargic because it had just eaten its prey and was now digesting it. He gripped the hilt of his sword tightly. Swinging his sword, he thought that he would just quickly kill it. Qin Feng screamed with his mouth wide open. Hitting the snake's scales, he cursed and exclaimed that he could not cut it, because the scales were too strong. The snake's tail was behind him, and he cursed again. The snake hit the ground with its tail. The main character opened his mouth wide in pain. Approaching him, the snake opened its mouth wide, studded with sharp teeth. The system reported the use of violent force. Qin Feng pierced the monster's mouth with his sword. The snake began to wriggle violently in pain, lifting the main character into the air. The main character did a somersault in the air over the monster's mouth. A blue flash flashed, and he cut the snake into pieces with several blows of his sword. Standing on the ground, he sighed and said that he had received 40 energy points and only had to kill one more level 1 beast to raise him to level 2. Frowning, he said that if the snake's stomach had not been full, he would not have been able to deal with it so easily. Swinging his sword, he said that he would cut open the stomach and see what was there. Looking at the corpse that fell out of the monster's belly, he said that it was a man. Qin Feng thought that in this world of chaos, anyone can die. The only difference is how he dies, and the predator feeds on prey, and the strongest survive. This is the law of this world. He raised his hand, shrouded in blue energy, over the corpse. The dialogue boxes say, "You have once again received the F-rank talent, Vision Enhancement. 2 identical enhancement type talents are automatically combined. The Vision Enhancement talent is upgraded to an E-rank talent. Vision has improved 20 times, and Night Vision has also become available. Talent improvement was successful. Talent Skill Awakening, Eye of True Vision, active skill, allows you to see the true nature of things." The main character asked about the talent improving. Frowning, he thought that when he finds identical talents, there is a certain chance that the extracted talent will increase its rank. In addition, there is a high chance of awakening the talent's skill. Smirking, he said that the Eye of True Sight was his first skill. The dialogue box says, "Red Snake Fruit, Level 1 Spiritual Fruit, Effect. Increases stamina and poison resistance when used." Qin Feng said that it instantly revealed the details of this spirit fruit, just like top-notch scanning devices from science fiction. After picking a fruit from a flower, he said that with this skill he gained information about all unknown things. In the future, this will give him a huge advantage when collecting resources. Taking a bite of the fruit, he said that he would no longer miss anything useful if he noticed it. Blue energy flowed through the meridians of his body. The dialogue boxes say, "Used red snake fruit, gained 8 stamina, poison resistance increased by 100%. The main character said that this amount can be obtained after using the extract on 4 wild beasts, and this fruit is a good loot. It's a pity that there is only one. Activating the Eye of True Sight, he said that he was wondering if there were other uses for these spiritual plants. Red snake fruit. Spiritual plants accumulate the essence of heaven and earth. 1 leaf grows in 1 year. 7 leaves grow in 7 years. Red fruit grows in the next 7 years. Features. After harvesting the red snake fruit, the leaves will automatically wither and become useless after a few days. Qin Feng said that the spiritual plant grew by absorbing the essence of nature. You can't just leave it here, and he will try to apply the extraction. He used infinite extraction, and the yellow energy gathered into a ball in his palm. The system informed him that he had obtained the essence of a spiritual plant, and its use would give him 2 stamina points. Smirking, the protagonist said that, as he thought, the plant on which the red snake fruit grows cannot be useless, and it gives as many stat points as the corpse of a wild beast. He ate the essence. The system reported that his power level had been increased to the 2-star limit. The main character looked at his stats window with a satisfied smile. He said that he didn't expect his combat strength to reach the peak of 2 stars so quickly, and he could even try to fight 3 or 4 level 1 beasts alone. Taking the sword in his hand, he said that he would use extraction on another 9-ringed poisonous snake, and then leave the newcomer village. Grinning confidently, he said that he would go to a larger land to find other wild beasts and increase his power, and he would become strong and survive in this world. Huge stones began to fall to the ground. The main character squinted, turning around, dodging, doing a somersault. He asked about someone ambushing him. He jumped onto the tree in one big leap. Looking around, he said that it seemed that this was not the case, and it was not surprising that he did not notice the poisonous snake of 9 rings, because the smell of blood from the previous snake was mixed with the smell of this one. He said that it appeared just at the moment when he wanted to go look for her. A strong bald man jumped into the attack, swinging his sword. The girl with the bow said it was too fast and she couldn't aim. The guy with dark hair shouted to aim at vital points, sticking his sword into the snake's body. The guy shouted that he would avenge his brother Changjun. The main character, standing on a tree branch, said that he did not expect to encounter them here. He remembered Lei Yu raising his hand and saying that he had a D-rank innate talent, manipulating light. He told those who wanted to join the group with him to approach him. Qin Feng thought that there were only 17 D-rank talents awakened in the rookie village. After Wang Qian's death, Lei Yu became one of the remaining 16. The snake hit Lei Yu on the ground, and the protagonist thought that as far as he remembers, he left the village beginners, gathering a group of 8 people. He wondered if there were only 6 of them now, because 2 had died. The girl asked Lei Yu if he was okay. Lei Yu shouted to her not to worry about him, and to quickly kill the snake while it was immobilized. The others rushed to attack, and Qin Feng thought that Lei Yu was attacking head-on. The rest were supporting from different sides. During the battle, the snake would be exhausted, and it would only be a matter of time before it died. Smirking, he thought that he had not yet tried using the Eye of True Sight on a living wild beast, and he would see what information it would give. The dialogue box says, 9-ringed venomous snake, level 1, combat strength, 3 stars, traits, fierce, bloodthirsty, poisonous, drop chance, 0.1%. The main character drew attention to the chance of production. He thought that this meant that if he killed it, he might get something, but 1 in 1,000 was a very low chance. A flash of bright light flashed, and Qin Feng covered his face with his hands. Standing next to the snake's corpse, Team Lei Yu shared how many energy points they had received. The guy, throwing his sword on the ground, shouted that he was given only 1 point. He asked if his contribution was really that small. Someone told him to stop complaining, because these points are awarded based on their contribution, and everything is definitely fair here. The guy said that he could only blame himself for being so weak. The main character, jumping from the tree, thought that this is how points are distributed if someone creates a group, and Tiangdao is well thought out since it encourages working together. He thought it was just a 9-ringed snake with 40 energy points, which wasn't much when divided by 7. As he landed, he wondered what was happening to this guy. Lei Yu was shrouded in a green aura, and someone asked what happened. Lei Yu said that he just upgraded his level. The girl exclaimed that he had indeed reached the 2nd level. The guy said upsetly that he only had 17 out of 100, and he had a long way to go to the 2nd level. The girl in the hat told him not to be upset, because as long as they act together, they will be able to survive in this cruel world. Qin Feng, hiding behind a tree, thought that this was his first time seeing a level 2 person, and he wondered if it was much different from a level 1. He thought he needed to test this with his Eye of True Sight. A list of Lei Yu's characteristics appeared on the dialogue box, not revealing his talent and skill. The main character, rubbing his chin, looked at the dialogue box. He thought that with such characteristics and his D-rank talent, his overall strength would barely reach 3 stars, and if he were to fight a level 1 wild beast alone, his chance of winning would only be 50%. He thought that even though he had not reached level 2 yet, his combat strength was at the peak of 2 stars. Considering all his talents, his overall strength should be somewhere around 4 stars. He thought that this meant that he could easily defeat a level 2 Lei Yu while at the 1st level. The guy offered to avenge Changjun, because Lei Yu had increased his level, and he was still in the stomach of that snake. Someone asked what really happened to Changjun. The guy said that when they were scouting the area together, they met 2 poisonous 9-ringed snakes in the forest. He fussily said that as soon as they saw them, they immediately turned and ran. But Cheng Jun stumbled, fell, and was swallowed by the snake. He said that fortunately, he awakened the speed enhancement talent, which helped him escape and bring the second snake here. Frowning decisively, Lei Yu said that they would avenge Cheng Ju. He told everyone to follow him and stay in formation, watch out for each other, and warn if they sense danger. Qin Feng, still standing behind the tree, thought that it seemed that the cake man in the snake's belly was their comrade, Cheng Jun, and now they were looking for the snake he had just killed. A bad kick created noise. The wind blew the leaves of the trees. A girl with blonde hair, shooting an arrow from a bow, asked who was there. The arrow pierced the tree trunk right in front of the protagonist's face. The girl shouted at him to come out. Qin Feng thought that she most likely had a hearing enhancement talent. Raising his hands, he told them not to worry, because he was just passing by. The girl, her eyes wide open, exclaimed that it was Qin Feng. The main character asked if they knew each other. He thought that he did not remember this girl. Lei Yu asked Liu Yan if she knew him. Liu Yan, confused, said no, and she doesn't know him. She just saw him in the chat. Looking at her, Qin Feng thought that there were more than 1,000 people chatting. She has an excellent memory, but it seems strange to him. Liu Yan asked why he was wearing clothes here, because it was dangerous. The main character, frowning, thought why they weren't leaving. He thought that once they left here, he would use extraction on the snake's corpse. An awkward silence fell between them. Liu Yan asked the leader if he could join them, because in this place you can only survive together. She said that they had lost Cheng Jun, and if Qin Feng was with them, their chances of survival would increase. Looking at the main character, Lei Yu thought that the difference in the fighting strength of people and wild beasts is too great. Being on the same level, man is no match for the beast, so it is necessary to work together. And in the future, different groups will definitely be created on this earth. Therefore, in order to occupy a stable position, you need as many people as possible to join it on whom you can rely. Agreeing, he asked the main character to show his characteristics and talent, and if he was not that bad, he would accept him. He thought that although he wanted to quickly create his group, he could not force others to join. He needed to maintain a strong image. Liu Yan told the main character to quickly show his information and let Lei Yu have a look, because he has a D-ranked talent and a second level, so he is lucky. The guy with glasses laughed and told him to follow Lei Yu, and he would have a great life. Shrugging his shoulders, Qin Feng said that there is no need for this, because he prefers to be alone. He started to leave. Liu Yan tried to stop him, but Lei Yu told her to let him go because they didn't force others to join. As Liu Yan left, she turned around and thought that she knew that Qin Feng did not remember her, but he must survive. Someone said that this Qin Feng is very strange. Another person told him to forget about it because he would regret it. Suddenly, they stopped and exclaimed in shock that the snake had simply been cut into pieces. Looking at the pieces of the snake, they asked who from the rookie village was so strong. Someone guessed that it was Luke Xuan, because he has the highest ranked talent in their rookie village and is the strongest here. Someone else objected that Luke Xuan's group had gone in the opposite direction. The guy touched the blood under the snake's corpse. He said that based on the dryness of the blood stains, he could tell that the snake had been killed 15 minutes ago. He added that it was killed with one blow, and there are traces of only one person. The guy said that the snake's scales were so hard that even his sword couldn't pierce them. They said that this meant that this person must be a professional and most likely a loner. Liu Yan asked if this was Qin Feng. She said that he was the only one nearby, and he also refused to join them. The dialogue box says, Beginner Village. Someone has reached level 3. Top 100 ranking by level is available. Shows only the level rating of the current village. Lei Yu exclaimed in amazement about the top 100 ranking by level. The dialogue box said that Qin Feng was ranked 47th. Lei Yu thought that Qin Feng was not at the same level as they thought, which meant that they were mistaken. The dialogue box said, First place, Luke Xuan, level 3. Second place, Long Shan, level 2. Third place, Wu Yang, level 2. The main character exclaimed that he was only in 47th place. Stretching, he said that 4 hours had passed. 8 people had already reached level 2. Luke Xuan reached level 3 the fastest, and it seemed like he also needed to speed up. He said that the extraction of level 1 wild beasts of this rookie meadow had already reached the limit, and it was time to go out hunting. The dialogue boxes say, Demonstration of the system of rewards for newbies for leveling up. The first one to reach level 10 received a golden chest. The second one who reaches level 10 will receive a silver chest. The third one who reaches level 10 will receive a bronze chest. Rubbing his chin, Qin Feng asked about the reward system. He said that the first 100 people to reach level 10 will receive a chest as a reward, and you don't have to wait until the end of the challenge to open it, which is very convenient. The dialog box says, chest ranks from lowest, dark steel rank, bronze, silver, gold, dark gold rank, purple diamond rank, historic rank, mythic rank. Touching the dialog box with his palm, the protagonist said that it seems that the higher the rank of the chest, the better its contents. He said that a leveling competition was starting. Surrounded by a whirlwind of vitter, he bent down to the ground. Jumping forward, he shouted that he would take first place for himself. Qin Feng swung his swords, shrouded in blue energy. The monster opened its mouth wide. The dialog box says, Silver Wolf, Hybrid, Level 1, Combat Rating, 4 stars, Cruel, Bloodthirsty, Cunning. The system reported the use of increased speed and frantic force. The main character stuck his sword into the monster. He was thrown aside and landed on his knee. Straightening up, he crossed his swords and said that this wolf's body was too strong, as if he were cutting iron. Gritting his teeth, he asked about how even after using his talents, he couldn't even hurt it. He asked how he could kill it. The monster thought that a pitiful level 1 human dared to invade his territory, and he would tear him to pieces. Frowning, he thought that this first level person was much stronger than most third level people. The wolf jumped to attack, and Qin Feng thought that it was rumored that wolves had a strong head and back, which was true, but its weak point should be its belly. Swinging his blades, he said that this was a great opportunity. His sword pierced the monster's body. It passed right through the monster's body. The wolf's body fell to the ground. Looking down at him, he said that he was the strongest of the beasts he had faced so far. But unfortunately, he was still stronger. With a cool expression on his face, he dealt the monster the final blow with his sword. The dialogue boxes say, Silver Wolf killed, 100 experience gained. You have reached level 2. Your strength, agility, endurance, and intelligence have increased by 10, and you have gained 5 stat points. In front of the main character was a sphere of yellow energy. Looking at his hands, he said that the increase in level felt like a surge of strength throughout his body. His wounds healed, and his state of mind was restored. The system reported receiving a dark steel chest. Qin Feng, holding the chest in his palm, exclaimed that he was very lucky. With his hands folded in supplication, he asked for a rank 2 weapon or equipment. He opened the lid of the chest. A strong beam of blue light fell on the main character from the chest. The dialogue box says, Obtained rank 2 weapon, Blood Wolf Combat Sword. A sharp sword made of titanium alloy, fused with wolf blood essence, bonus attack power, plus 100% chance of wounding. The main character, raising the blade, exclaimed that this is an excellent sword, and now there is no need to be afraid of meeting other unique wild animals. The animal's paw stepped on the ground. The wolves surrounded the main character. Qin Feng said that these were the comrades of that silver wolf whom he called before his death. Smirking, he said that this was very successful, and it was time to try out his blood wolf battle sword. He swung his sword, turning around and stamping his foot. He asked about the surprise attack. The wolf attacked him from behind. Qin Feng pierced the monster's chest with his sword. Smirking, he said that they were no match for him. After several swings of the sword, he found himself surrounded by dead wolves. Looking down, he thought that after leveling up, his speed, strength, and endurance had increased significantly. He thought that this time it took him less than a minute to kill 5 silver wolves. At level 1, he would not have been able to do this at all. Gritting his teeth, he said that he still had not had the opportunity to learn the secrets of this place. But time after time, the cruel reality of this world shows him that this is not a dream, but the real world. Leaving the dead wolves behind, he walked towards the sunset and thought that it would continue to gain strength, and eventually become invincible and find a way out of this nightmare. His stats window appeared in front of him with a list of talents. Yellow energy struck the huge beast. The monster fell to the ground and Lei Yu landed nearby. The guy exclaimed that the strength of someone who has reached level 2 is enormous, as expected from Lei Yu. Another guy, clapping his hands, said that it was only thanks to him that they were not injured or died at the hands of the bloody rabbit, and teamwork was something. The dialogue boxes say, Qin Feng was the first to kill the mutated wild beast and received 1 prestige point. Prestige is of great value. When you reach a certain level, you will receive a special reward. Only the one who was the first to kill a mutated wild beast of the first level receives prestige points. The bald guy, scratching the back of his head, asked if they had recently encountered him, and if he himself was able to kill the mutated wild beast. Another guy said he was only 47th in the rankings. How could he do it himself? He said that, most likely, he simply finished off someone else's beast. Liu Yan thought that going out against the mutated wild beast alone is very dangerous, and she hopes that everything is fine with him. Lei Yu said that perhaps the first level mutated beast is not that strong at all, and maybe he was just lucky to kill it. Someone said that he was willing to bet that if Lei Yu encountered a unique level 1 wild beast, he would be able to handle it too, and Qin Feng was just lucky. Alerts appeared on dialogue boxes indicating that 4 people had been killed by a level 1 wild beast, the Fanged Boar. The guy exclaimed that the mutated beast of the first level killed 4 people at once, one of whom was of the second level. He said that the mutated beasts were monstrously strong, and even a level 2 awakened one could not do anything against them. Lei Yu thought that he was so proud that he was able to kill a level 1 wild beast single-handedly, and he was too arrogant. They exclaimed that Qin Feng's ranking had changed, and he was now in 5th place. Looking at the rating dialogues, someone asked if he had taken enhancement pills, since his growth rate was simply absurd. Lei Yu called on the others to continue hunting wild beasts, as they should not be left behind too much. The main character exhaled slowly, raising his face up. Sitting on a mountain of wolf corpses, he said that he killed a lot of them at one time. The dialogue box that appears in front of his face reads, "Save me. Our group leader died, like all the other members. Only I managed to escape." Qin Feng asked about being a survivor. The dialogue box says, "Our group was completely destroyed. If not for my speed skill, I would have died too. Killed a level 2 person and 4 level 1 people. The strength of this beast is simply terrifying. It is much more dangerous than level 2 wild beasts. I am now alone 40-50 kilometers south of the newcomer's village, and he is still nearby. Please, someone save me." The main character imagined a map with his approximate location relative to the newcomer village and the monster. Rubbing his chin, he thought that he was now in the southeast of the newcomer village, and if he hurried there, he would reach it in about 5 minutes. Smirking, he said that the Fanged Boar is a mutated wild beast of the first level. Killing it will give him 2-3 times more than killing ordinary wild beasts, and he can also get a chest for it, which may contain equipment, and this is his chance. Walking past the corpse, he said that the bodies were still here, which meant that the Fanged Boar was also nearby. But in addition to the smell of the bodies and the Fanged Boar, it seemed that there was some other smell. He exclaimed that it was a bloody rabbit. Stopping, the main character asked if he had made a mistake, because different types of wild animals usually do not appear together. He decided to use extraction and look around a little later. He gained 2 agility points. With his mouth wide open in amazement, he wondered why he had not received any innate talent. Frowning, he decided to try again. A red dialogue box indicated that the extraction failed. The protagonist said in bewilderment that the last time this happened was because he had reached the limit of level 1 wild beast extraction. He asked what was the matter now. The system reported gaining increased sense of smell, increased stamina twice as a result of endless extraction. The system reported that the evolution had failed, and the enhanced sense of smell remained at F rank. Scratching his head, Qin Feng wondered why the endless extraction talent wasn't working as it should. He thought that the system did not give any clues. He wondered if it was because he already had such innate talent and she was of a lower rank. It was true. Reaching out to the sword lying on the ground, he thought that it didn't matter and he would just take whatever he could. And this time he got the stamina enhancement talent. The main character thought that he had an innate talent associated with strength, D rank furious strength, agility associated with E rank innate talent, increased speed, energy associated with E rank improved vision and enhanced sense of smell. And now there is also E rank innate talent, increased stamina. Walking among the stones, he said that he now has innate talents for all 4 characteristics, and now he does not lack any of them. Noticing a footprint on the ground, he asked if someone had been dragged here. He said that this was strange and asked why the fanged boar needed to drag Liu Yu Chang's body. Gritting his teeth, he asked if he was going to eat it. Running towards the cave, Qin Feng thought that Liu Yu Chang had awakened a D-rank talent. If he found his body, he could obtain his innate talent, and he must do this before the fanged boar eats the body. Standing in front of the cave entrance, he thought that this seemed to be the lair of a fanged boar. Looking inside, he wondered if there was a sense of danger coming from this cave, or if he was thinking too much about it. He thought that the fanged boar was just a unique level 1 wild beast, and with his current strength, he could easily deal with it. The red snake inside the cave rushed to attack. Poisonous snake 10 rings, level 1, combat strength, 5 stars, cruel, bloodthirsty, poisonous, skill, poison cloud, status, under control. The main character, jumping away, exclaimed that this was a poisonous snake with 10 rings. Getting into a fighting stance, he exclaimed that it was a mutated wild beast with a 5-star combat power. He asked why the 10-ring snake had a combat strength of 5 stars, when the mutated beast of the same level, the silver wolf, had a combat strength at the peak of 4 stars. The snake hit the ground with its tail, and Qin Feng said that it is on a completely different level, and it can also release poison, and he has never been in such a situation before. A purple mist began to emanate from the snake's mouth, and the main character exclaimed that it was poisonous gas. Violet gas entered the protagonist's eyes. Qin Fen, dropping his sword, grabbed his eyes with his hands and screamed loudly. 3 monsters rushed to attack him. Trying to see his own palms, he exclaimed that he could not see anything, because this poisonous gas had affected his vision. The impact shot a stream of dust out of the cave. Purple tears came from the eyes of the main character, and he clenched his teeth and swore. Swinging his sword, he shouted that although he could not see anything now, he would never die here. Screaming, he rushed to the attack. The boar hit the ground with force. Standing in the cave and looking around, the main character thought that there was only one more left. He thought where it was. The snake jumped to attack, and Qin Feng dodged, thinking that, as he thought, the poisonous snake of 10 rings would attack him from behind. Swinging his sword, he said that although he cannot see anything, he still has his talents of smell and hearing and should not be underestimated. He said that he would not die here just like that. Shrouded in blue energy, he jumped onto the monster's head. He plunged his sword into the serpent's head. Blood splashed onto the rocky ground. The dialogue boxes say, killed a poisonous snake of 10 rings of level 1, gained 110 experience, received a chest of dark steel. Sitting on the ground, Qin Fen thought that it was close, and if not for his stamina enhancement talent, he might have already died. He lowered his unseeing gaze. The dialogue box says, congratulations, you have reached level 3. Your strength, agility, endurance, and intelligence have increased by 10. Gained 5 stat points. A restorative aura surrounded the main character. Opening his eyes in amazement, he exclaimed that his eyes were healed. Laughing, he asked how he could forget that when he levels up, his entire body returns to its best condition, and if he loses his arms or legs, even goes blind, it will all be cured. He said this leveling up comes at just the right time. Looking at the dialogue box, Qin Feng said that he didn't immediately notice that he got a chest after killing the 10 rings poisonous snake. The chest was surrounded by blue energy. He said with a grin that he would never have thought that this time he would get such a useful thing from the chest. Grinning, he said it was worth it. Noticing the portal, the main character exclaimed that there was a spatial gate here. Touching the portal, he said that all 3 wild beasts that suddenly attacked him disappeared here. As he walked through the portal, he said that with his current strength, he no longer needed to fear the sudden attacks of these 3 wild beasts, but he felt that there was something more frightening behind them. Qin Feng found himself in a cave full of plants and flowers. The dialogue boxes in front of him displayed the names of the plants, and he thought that these were all first-level spirit plants. Noticing something, he opened his mouth in shock. He exclaimed that there were wild animals and a dead man here. The dead man was shrouded in a red aura. The dialogue box says, "You have entered the space of another world. The rating table is not available. You can continue to use your personal information and the chat channel." The main character used the Eye of True Sight on a dead man sitting on a mountain of skulls and bones. The dialogue box says, human, dead, level 4, combat strength, 6 stars, trait, hidden dark energy, waiting for flesh to be reborn, extremely evil. Qin Feng wondered if the skills and talents were unknown, Wouldn't his combat strength be 7 stars or more? Looking at the dead man's weapon, he thought that, moreover, he had 3 more wild beasts on his side, and if a battle broke out, he would be at a great disadvantage. He thought that this braid made him feel very uneasy, too ominous. Looking at the dead man, whose eyes sparkled in the darkness, he thought that it was better to leave here now, and then, when he became stronger, to return and deal with him. The dead man turned his gaze towards him. Pointing his finger at it, he called it a 3rd-level insect from the small world. He told him, since he had already come, to stay and he would use his flesh for rebirth. The animals rushed to attack along with the green chains. Grabbing the hilt of the sword, the main character cursed. The green chains hit the ground and Qin Feng jumped to the side. Running to the side, he asked if these chains were the skill of this dead man. The rodent jumped to attack him, and the main character said that this was bad, because he needed to be wary not only of chains, but also of attacks from wild animals. Green chains enveloped the main character. Gritting his teeth, he exclaimed that he could no longer move. The dead man said with an evil grin that these stupid wild beasts could only bring a couple of corpses, but not a living person, and all this long time he could only rely on the blood of corpses to barely support his body. Qin Feng was shrouded in blue energy, and the monster said that now a living body had burst into its territory, and it was like a blessing from God. He said that he would use his body to be reborn. The main character, tightly grasping the hilt of the sword with both hands, thought that if he did not free himself from its control, he would definitely die here. A bright light enveloped him, and the chains around him were broken. Having struck the animals with his sword, he jumped towards the dead man. The dead man thought in shock that this couldn't be true, because the intelligence of level 3 people from the small world should be around 30, and he couldn't resist and break out of his mind control. The main character jumped into the attack, swinging his sword. Not reaching the enemy, he fell, bleeding. The dead man told him on his knees that he seemed to be underestimating. He said with an evil smile that no man could resist his penetration into the mind, and he liked his body. It should be an honor for him to give it to him. The main character, covered in sweat, grinned. He rudely told him to shut up and ordered the system to add all the stat points to his mind. The dead man, looming over him as a huge shadow, told him that he felt his resistance and struggle. He did not like him. He would tear his soul into pieces, throw it into the flames of hell, and turn it into ashes. He ordered the fanged boar to kill him. The system reported that the main character's intelligence was increased by 10 points. The boar threw the main character into the wall, and it became covered with cracks. A yellow flash flashed in the cloud of dust, and the dead man thought that the man's mind had become stronger. The main character, after blocking the attack with a sword, he thought that he was lucky that after killing the poisonous snake of 10 rings, he got a 1st rank item, a low-level storage ring, and even if he dropped the Blood Wolf battle sword, he could take out the weapon at any time. He thought that he would first kill these 2 mutated wild beasts, then deal with the dead man. Waves of green magic enveloped the protagonist, and the dead man said that even if he was able to temporarily escape from his mind control, he was still no match for him. The beasts rushed to attack, and Qin Feng thought that he needed at least 2 seconds to escape from the mind control of this dead man. The dead man grinned contentedly. Seeing the animals fall to the ground, the smile disappeared from his face in bewilderment. The main character, standing in a cloud of dust, thought that some effect had finally appeared, and after killing the snake of 10 rings, he picked up its poisonous gland. He remembered how, while applying poison to his blade, he said that the poisonous liquid from the glands of the 10-ringed snake could be useful in future battles. Surrounded by sparkling blue energy, he said that he had already figured out that he couldn't move, and now that all 3 wild mutated beasts were dead, he would see how he would protect himself. The dead man shouted that this could not be, and he definitely used some dirty methods, like all despicable people. He screamed loudly. The main character, swinging his sword, cut it into pieces. The dialogue boxes say, "Killed a dead man, a creature of evil, gained 210 experience, gained 10 justice points. Congratulations, you have completed the hidden system exam and become a level 1 judge. A judge can kill evil beings and those who have broken the rules of the gods, a calling available to 1 in a billion." A yellow aura enveloped Qin Feng. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully become a level 1 judge, strength plus 20, agility plus 20, endurance plus 20, intelligence plus 20. Qin Feng exclaimed that the evil being was the dead man he had killed. So the Eye of True Sight showed that he was extremely evil. He said that he needed to continue killing evil creatures in order to receive justice points, but he was never explained how to use these points. However, it would definitely be something useful. He said that he almost died, but the reward was worth it. It was not for nothing that God said that this world is full of both dangers and opportunities. The dialogue box says, Divine Seal Skill. Obtaining the same talents can give Divine Seal. Rank 3 skill obtained, Beast Taming. Turning around, the main character saw a green object over the body of a dead man. He exclaimed happily that this was a rank 3 skill, Beast Taming, and once he learned this skill, he would be able to command a group of wild beasts to hunt, which would be a very easy way to gain experience. A red dialogue box indicated that the activation conditions were not met. The dialogue boxes say, D rank innate talent, mind enhancement, when combined with the beast taming pill, can activate the beast taming skill. C rank innate talent, linked 6 senses, can activate the beast taming skill. Rubbing his chin thoughtfully, Qin Feng said that the conditions for learning this skill are too difficult to fulfill. Even for the lowest level one will need a D rank talent, mind enhancement. He asked if the dead man had such a pill and its recipe. He began to rummage through the dead man's belongings, discovering dirty socks that had not been washed in 200 years, a gold necklace obtained by deceiving a demon's concubine, a secretly hidden pink apron of a skeleton king, an eye lost after being struck by a snake girl, a love bone sent by his significant other. Cursing and kicking the bag, he shouted that he had all kinds of garbage, but not what he needed. Sighing, the main character decided to begin the extraction. A strong gust of wind blew around him. The dialogue boxes say, Infinite extraction was successful. You received a D rank talent, a mind boost, and 3 strength and dexterity points. Qin Feng thought that as expected, the corpse's talent was related to the mind. Next time he would have to beware of such attacks on the mind. It would be much more difficult to deal with than the mindless wild beasts. The dialogue boxes say, using the mind enhancement talent, creating a divine seal skill. The main character slapped his hand on his chest. He said that the creation was successful, but he still needed to obtain the talent associated with the 6 senses, or find a way to create a beast taming pill to activate it. The dialogue box says, the creation of the divine seal skill was successful. You have received the 3rd rank skill, taming the beast. Qin Feng, touching the ground with his palm, said that both were difficult to achieve. The system reported receiving dragon blood fruit, bone tree grass, heart grass. The ground under his feet began to crack, and he exclaimed that the experiment was a success, and with his mind strengthened, he can directly control the storage ring to collect everything into it at once, which is much more convenient. He said that perhaps in future battles he could summon a sword and win with a surprise attack, and he was sorry because if he had obtained the beast taming pill, he would have been able to directly control wild beasts rather than items like spirit grass and fruits. The ring on his finger was surrounded by colorful energy. The main character said that it should be Liu Yu Chang, who was killed by a mutated fanged boar. As the system showed, as far as he remembers, his talent is related to fire, and he will try to extract his talent. The system reported a successful extraction, and he received a D rank fire control talent and a D rank speed enhancement talent. Qin Feng said that the second guy's talent is also not bad, and increasing his speed can speed him up twice. A spark flashed in the darkness. The flame engulfed the protagonist's finger, and he said that he had finally received an attacking talent. He said with a smirk that when he became stronger, he might not even have to engage in close combat. He would be able to control fire and attack from afar. A strong gust of fire enveloped him, and he thought it was too strong. Sometime later, he was sitting at the fire with a piece of roasted meat in his hands. Qin Feng said that the chat channel has become very lively and everyone is discussing leveling up. He said that it seemed that under pressure from God, the 911 Rookie Village had started a level up competition. The guy, plunging his sword into the corpse of the wolf, laughed and said that now he would tell everyone the good news. He said that Lao Desu Sheng reached level 3 and returned to 9th place. The guy in the chat asked if they saw after Qin Feng reached level 3 how after a while his name became gray, after which his ranking position continued to fall. Someone asked if something had happened to him. Someone else said that if he died, his name would disappear. Qin Feng thought that he had not died. He was just in the space of another world. He said that today he had overcome many obstacles, and first he would regain some strength in this safe place and then continue hunting. Cutting the meat with a knife, he said that it smelled very nice. Having bitten off a piece, he said that it was fatty and juicy and difficult to chew. 3 identical dialogue boxes appeared. Successfully obtained a cooked leg, stamina +1. Qin Feng exclaimed that his strength was restored very quickly. There was a notification on the dialogue box. Qin Feng from the newcomer village found a little trick. Eating cooked meat restores strength. Due to the first discovery, Qin Feng was awarded 1 reputation point. The guy exclaimed that this meant that cooked meat could restore strength. Another guy said that he was wondering why Qin Feng's name became gray and the ranking position kept falling, but he was just enjoying life. He exclaimed that he was jealous. Someone suggested going because he wanted to find food and regain his strength. The dialogue boxes say, "Reminder for everyone, you can only restore your strength by eating cooked food and warm water. Cold food and water will have no effect." The trading channel has been activated. The guys silently looked at the dialogue boxes. The guy in the jacket, scratching his head, asked how he could eat cooked food since he had no fire. The guy in the t-shirt asked if anyone knew how to control fire. He asked to give him some fire. The girl exclaimed that the trade looked interesting. The main character asked if he could sell the cooked meat. The dialogue boxes say, "Qin Feng has released a new product into the trading channel. Every 3 kilograms of cooked meat, I exchange it for the corpse of 1 wild animal." Qin Feng became the first to use the trade channel, received 1 prestige point. The guy said that he was lucky that he had the corpse of a wild beast, and he would try to exchange with Qin Feng. The dialogue boxes say, Luke Xuan used the corpse of a level 2 wild beast, saber-toothed mountain tiger, to exchange 3 kilograms of cooked meat with Qin Feng. As a result of the first transaction in this area, Luke Xuan and Qin Feng received 1 prestige point each. There will be no further notice. The beast's body disappeared, and Luke Xuan exclaimed that they had indeed exchanged. The guy told Lei Yu that Qin Feng sells cooked wild animal meat through the system, and it can restore strength. Lei Yu offered to exchange the freshly killed wild beast for cooked meat. The main character, using infinite extraction, received 2 points of stamina and intelligence. Laughing, he said that this way he wouldn't have to look for wild animals. Everyone would work for him. Liu Yuan told the main character, they both have level 3, and in the ranking he is 1 position higher than him. He asked if he would send him 6 kilograms of cooked meat, and he would owe him. People in the chat exclaimed that he was too arrogant and just wanted cooked meat for free. Folding his arms across his chest, Qin Feng indignantly thought about who he thought he was. Rubbing his chin, he said with a sly grin that the quantity of meat is limited, first come first served. Someone exclaimed in the chat that this was the first message from Qin Feng today. The main character thought smugly that he now looked more like a merchant with a black heart. The bald guy, sitting next to the fire, said that he sells cooked meat, exchanges 50 kilograms of meat for first rank equipment. Qin Feng said that although he said that he was a black-hearted merchant, he didn't think that there would be anyone more greedy than him. The guy in the chat said that even if he had it, he would use it himself rather than bargain with him. The main character decided to try to sell other things. He put out an offer to exchange 1 spirit fruit or other first-rank equipment for 3 spirit plants. The guy asked in amazement where he found all this, and where he got so many weapons of the first rank. People in the chat started discussing that he might have a talent for crafting. The dialogue box says, Rank 1 equipment, power bracelet, exchanged for your rank 1 refined steel sword. Qin Feng exclaimed that people were switching to his first rank weapons so quickly. He exclaimed that among the 4 stats, his strength was the lowest, and this bracelet with a strength bonus of 7 points would make up for its lack. He said that now that he already has a rank 1 strength bracelet and also a rank 2 battle sword, no one in the entire rookie village can compare with him. A strong beam of yellow energy hit the ground with a bright flash. The dialogue boxes say, Newcomer Village number 137 has made a bid aimed at Newbie Village number 911. Resource bid has been activated. Bet on resources. The resources of the losing side will be reduced by half. Each will lose 20 stat points. The winning side will increase resources by 2 times. Each will receive 20 stat points. This time, the village in which the first person to reach level 5 will win. The first one to reach level 5 will win the bet and receive an additional 50 attribute points and 1 silver chest. The chat channel of the two newcomer villages will now connect. During the betting period, the ratings of both villages will be temporarily hidden. The main character thought in shock what newcomer village number 137 was doing, because the price of defeat in this bet was too high. The dialogue boxes say, the chat channels of both newcomer villages have been connected, allowing you to communicate with each other without any restrictions. Reducing resources by half will cause the leveling rate to drop dramatically, making it impossible for almost anyone to pass the newbie challenge. People began to actively discuss what was happening, saying that now that Tiangdao has closed the ranking, they cannot even check who is in first place, and they definitely did this on purpose to intimidate them. The man with a long mustache said that he, the Baron of Newcomers, Edward, as a member of the noble blood tribe, was already at level 4 and would definitely lead them to victory. The guy in the chat exclaimed that he deliberately started this bet at night because it gives him an advantage. Edward grinned and said that he was quick-witted and, like the blood tribe, they were stronger at night. Laughing, he said that now he could deal with level 4 monsters single-handedly. He sneezed, gritting his teeth. The main character exclaimed that this is a vampire from the blood tribe, and this means that there are other races. Straightening up, he said that if you think about it, everyone in the 911 rookie village is from the Blue Star Dragon country, which means that Tiangdao deliberately gathered people from the same countries in each village. He asked why the system would do this, what its real purpose was. The dialogue box says, cards of all creatures from level 1 to 10 have been revealed. Reward for bet. Looking at the flame in his palm, he said, this is just the beginning of a conflict between newcomer villages, but won't this create a conflict between countries or even continents? Clenching his hand into a fist, he said that it didn't matter yet, and the bet on resources between their newcomer villages was much more important. Qin Feng said that Edward can kill a level 4 beast single-handedly. Although his level up speed is faster than Luke Xuan, he is still much slower than Edward, and if he wants to reach level 5 as quickly as possible, he must start killing monsters in top-level hunting zones. He began to run at lightning speed among the trees in the night forest. He thought he was lucky that his eyesight had improved, and he could see clearly as if it were morning. He thought that enhancing his sense of smell also allowed him to eliminate beasts lurking in the dark. And after starting to bid for resources, Changdao rewarded them with a map showing the places of the highest beast activity. He thought that this allowed him to move faster and more accurately into areas with active animals. The cats were sitting around a tree in the 4th level beast hunting zone. Without stopping running, the main character killed all the wild cats that got in his way. A humanoid monster jumped out to attack him. Qin Feng turned his head in amazement. Swinging his sword, he cut the monster into pieces. The dialogue box says, Golden-eyed half-tiger, level 5, combat strength, 8 stars, traits, agile, sharp claws, skills, fierce wind sudden attack. The main character thought about the golden-eyed tiger. Stepping on the corpse of the monster, he said that it jumped out so suddenly, but it is also fast. Its enhanced sense of smell did not work as it should, which gave it the opportunity to attack it. But fortunately, it is only a level 5 beast. He successfully extracted 2 power points. Qin Feng, holding up the monster's paw, said that this was the first time he had met a beast that was half human. He asked if it could be that beasts above level 5 would no longer be simple animals, gradually taking on the characteristics of humans. A heavy smell surrounded him. Raising his head, the main character said that it was a familiar smell. He asked if there was a spiritual herb or fruit somewhere nearby. Walking among the trees, he said that if he goes further, he will reach the 6th level beast zone, although their level will be higher. This also applies to spirit fruits, and he wonders if he will meet beasts even more similar to of people. He said that if he found a group of beasts that looked like dried corpses, it would be a problem. Deciding to stop thinking about it, he said that he just needed to find the spiritual fruits, because there were always animals nearby, and he would first kill them, and then collect the loot, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. A beast with golden bracelets sat next to a red flower. Gritting his teeth, the main character thought that he had problems. The dialogue boxes say, Dragon fruit, level 2, description. Grew by absorbing a stream of dragon blood. Effects, after use. Strength, agility, and endurance will increase by a large amount. After use, there is a 0.1% chance of receiving a stream of pure dragon blood. Furious Bear King, level 6, combat strength. 12 stars, characteristics. Cruelty, bloodthirstiness, territory defense. The main character thought that this was a 6th level beast with a 60% chance of reward. It would be difficult to fight, not to mention that it was a king. He jumped behind him, swinging his sword. The monster, noticing his approach, threw him aside. He began to slowly approach him, and Qin Feng thought that he was too careless. He didn't even think that he was that fast, and given his size, he didn't have a chance to dodge. The monster called out to him. The central head told him not to get in his way. The right head said that he did not want to waste time on him. The left head told him to just leave, and he would spare his life. Smirking, the main character thought that all 3 heads were talking at the same time. This was very strange and a little disgusting. He suggested that in response he should leave himself, and then he would save his life. The monster angrily called him a stupid level 4 human and said that he would tear him to pieces. They exchanged attacks. The main character quickly bent his knees. The monster struck with its paw and Qin Feng jumped high into the air. The monster raised its head up in confusion. The main character hit one of the monster's heads with his sword. The bear swung its paw, and Qin Feng was able to dodge at the last moment. The left head shouted that the third brother had just died, and he was cursing people. The central head told him to shut up. Qin Feng gritted his teeth and thought that his neck was much stronger than he thought, and even if he used all his strength, he would only be able to cut off one head at a time. A golden image of a dragon appeared above the monster. A red dialogue box indicated that the beast had gone into a rage, lasting up to 10 minutes. After jumping up, the main character thought it was the roar of a dragon, but his strength was too weak. Perhaps this was the result of being near the dragon fruit for a long time and unintentionally absorbing some of the dragon's characteristics. The monster shouted that he had seriously angered him and he would send him to hell. Qin Feng raised his sword, clenching his teeth as hard as he could. As he struck with the sword, he thought that in his state of rage, his defense had increased, and now he could not even scratch it. The monster waved his paw. The main character thought that he would not be able to dodge. The monster shouted that he was too arrogant. He asked if he really thought that at level 4 he could win against level 6 using pathetic tricks. His mouth was right in front of his face. He shouted that he would know the price for angering him. Frowning, Qin Feng waved his flames. The dialogue box says, "Your Blood Wolf War Sword has been added flame power. Fire damage increased by +10. The flame hit the monster's neck. The monster fell to the ground, and the main character, sighing, said that enhancing the Blood Wolf's battle sword with the power of flame had finally helped break through his defense, and it was not an easy fight. Sheathing his sword, he said that the 6th level Beast King was much harder to fight than ordinary mutated ones, and he almost died, but the talent he would gain could be very useful. Stopping, he asked why Chengdao had not yet announced that he had killed the Bear King. The monster's paw was rapidly approaching the protagonist's back. Turning around, he gritted his teeth as he dodged, and thought that the furious Bear King was not yet dead. The Bear King's head, covered in flames, flew into the air. The dialogue boxes say, "You killed the furious king of the bears of level 6. Your hunt was successful. You received plus 500 energy points. You are the first to kill a level 6 furious Bear King. Received 2 prestige points. Accumulated a total of 6 prestige points." A bronze treasure chest appeared. Bronze treasure chest. There is a 98% chance of receiving a level 2 item, and a 2% chance of receiving a level 3 item. The protagonist said that he was still alive even though he cut off his head, and hunting the 6th level Bear King proved to be an invaluable experience. He said that it was also a reminder to him that with each level, the monsters of this world would become much more dangerous and harder to kill. He definitely shouldn't relax until he became strong enough. The dialogue boxes say, "Treasure chest successfully opened. You have received the 2nd level item, the Bear King's Battle Armor. Bear King's Battle Armor, defense plus 25, fire resistance plus 100%, cold resistance plus 100%. Surrounded by blue flames, Qin Feng said with a smile that the defense has increased by 25, along with fire and cold resistance, and this is definitely the best 2nd tier item. The sword under the protagonist's hand glowed blue. The dialogue boxes say, "Infinite extraction was successful. You received an E-ranked talent, Blood Evolution. Blood Evolution awakens the power of blood, increasing strength, speed, and defense by 30%. The Blood Evolution talent can be combined with the blood of gods or the blood of demons, so awakening will be easier. Rubbing his chin, the protagonist said, "No wonder the fierce Bear King guarded the dragon blood fruit, not even wanting to get into a fight with it when it appeared. And if he had such a treasure, he would have carefully guarded it too." He looked at the red flower. Qin Feng clutched his chest and fell to the ground. His face became covered in sweat and his eyes began to glow yellow. The huge dragon, grabbing him, said that he was weak, like an ant crawling on the ground. He asked that he be allowed to consider whether he should swallow it raw or fry it as a delicacy, like humans. Squeezing it tightly, the dragon asked whether he should just crush it. Gritting his teeth, the main character thought that he had just eaten a dragon blood fruit, and this was all just a hallucination. Gripping the dragon's tail with his teeth, he thought that he would not allow the hallucination to take control of him. The dragon shouted in confusion that he was a real dragon, and he could teach him the secrets of dragons. He shouted at him to stop eating it. The main character thought that he didn't care whether he was a real dragon or not. He would definitely eat him. Having come to his senses, he exhaled, leaning his back against the tree. The dialogue boxes say, "You have successfully used the dragon blood fruit. Your blood has been strengthened. You have gained 5 points of strength, endurance, agility. You have awakened some of the power of dragon blood. Strength +8, agility +6, endurance +8. With the help of the dragon blood fruit, 0.1% of your blood evolved into true dragon blood." Qin Feng looked at his stats window and said that it seems that the people of his country are the descendants of true dragons. Because he was able to obtain some of the blood of a true dragon, he said that after eating the fruit, he felt warm all over his body, and he would really like to sleep. But he can't do it yet, because he has almost reached the 5th level. If he kills just one beast, he will be able to win the challenge for resources. Ignoring the monster behind him, he decided to check the others' progress first. The guy in the chat said that Luke Shuan is almost at level 4, and they are 1 step away from winning. The other guy said it was bad. Edward on the rival side had just killed a level 4 beast and gained a lot of experience. Edward said that this lord is already level 4, 500 out of 1200. He will rise to level 5 before dawn, and they can all just wait for glory to come to them. The man exclaimed that he was truly the strongest of them all. The girl said that she just checked the progress of the strongest person in the Dragon Country Rookie Village. He is only level 3, and Edward has already left Luke Shuan far behind in the dust. The guy exclaimed that he was very excited, and this time, these weak people from the Dragon Country would definitely fall to the ground in tears. The system reported that Qin Feng from Rookie Village no. 911 became the first to reach level 5. Rookie Village no. 911 wins this resource bet challenge. Edward looked at the dialogue box and exclaimed in amazement. The system congratulated all members of Rookie Village number 911 and announced that they had received 20 free stat points as a reward. Liu Yan exclaimed that it was Qin Feng, and he really did it. The guy asked if he was a cheater, because it was impossible. The guys exclaimed that a huge mountain suddenly appeared in front of them, and it scared them greatly. Someone said that he was just trying to kill the blood rabbit, but suddenly another one appeared, and if he didn't have 20 stat points, he would be finished. Another guy exclaimed, laughing, that these were resources. The dialogue boxes read, at the same time, all members of Rookie Village number 137 will lose 20 stat points and their resources will be halved. People, standing among the blows of blue rays on the ground, swore at Edward. Edward shouted that he would remember their names and suck all their blood. People decided to unite and get rid of the vampire. The dialogue boxes say, "Congratulations, Qin Feng. Rookie Village number 911 won the bet and is now in the lead. Received 3 prestige points, a silver treasure chest and 50 stat points." The main character, plunging his blade into the monster behind him, said that he was glad that he came here to raise his level, because he just had a little time left to raise him to level 5. Using infinite extraction on the monster, he said that he would take good care of it and use extraction. He received 2 strength points. The guy texted him saying that he had just received a resource bid token and he would like to use it to exchange for a level 1 refined steel sword. Smirking, Qin Feng said that no matter how you look at it, he cannot refuse this offer. He said that with this token, the initiative would be in his hands. He would no longer need to rush to the area with the top level beasts to hunt them. He accepted the exchange by pressing a button. The dialogue boxes say, "Resource bid token appears once in each newcomer village. Only the strongest in the entire village has the right to use it." After application, if the village wins, the reward received by the owner of the token increases several times. If the village loses, the owner's punishment also increases several times. The protagonist said that it was no wonder that Gu Ming wanted to sell it to him, not only because of the token's usage restriction, but also because of the penalty increasing several times. Gu Ming thanked him and asked when he planned to start his next resource bid. The rest supported the idea. Smiling smugly, Qin Feng thought that he seemed to be quite famous now. He thought that he had suddenly gained a lot of prestige by leading everyone to victory. He said that when morning came and everyone was fully recovered, he would begin the next resource push. People exclaimed that they supported his decision. Hanging his head, Qin Feng said that he is not caring, and it is not because he is tired and wants to stall for time. He thought that with his endurance, he could stay awake for 3 days and 3 nights and still not get tired. Having pierced the green bird through and thrown a sword at it, he thought that first he wanted to get to the most dangerous zone with level 10 beasts, and then start betting on resources. He thought that level 10 beasts are the most dangerous now, but they also give the most experience. It is the fastest way to level up, so his chances of winning will also increase. The system reported that he had successfully killed a level 6 night owl and received 220 experience points. The wind blew over the night desert. The main character thought that the experience points received from animals in low-level zones were less. The chance of getting a treasure chest was also small, and after quickly clearing this zone, he would go to the zone with level 10 animals. Looking at the cloud of sand rising above the ground, he thought it was strange. Covering his face with his collar, he said that according to the map, the 10th level beast zone should be somewhere here. Looking at the dialogue box, Qin Feng asked what was going on here since he couldn't smell any beasts even though he had the talent of enhancing his sense of smell. He asked if there was a troubleshooting feature. Suddenly he began to fall into a deep hole. As he fell, he thought that he did not feel anything unusual just now, as if it had come out of nowhere. Cursing, he thought that there were no scenes at all, and he didn't even have anything to cling to. Wrapped in flames, the main character thought that he needed to quickly figure out how to stop the fall. Otherwise, if he continued to fall, he would fall to his death. Even if he did not die, it would be like hell. Landing among the trees, he said that he felt the presence of a strong beast, and he had never experienced such a thing here before. Looking around, Qin Feng asked if this is definitely the 10th level beast area, and in addition to the absence of beasts, there is also a gagging smell of corpses here. It is so strong that he cannot locate the 10th level beasts at all. His hand passed through the stone statue, and realizing that it was an illusion, he wondered what a strange place this was. A lot of abandoned buildings appeared in front of him, and the main character said that from the outside it was very similar to the number 911 Rookie Village. It can be assumed that this is an abandoned Rookie Village, and if he is right, if the number 911 Rookie Village fails the Rookie test, it would be like this too. Clenching his hands into fists, Qin Feng said that the heavens are fair but cruel. They give every person the opportunity to level up and gain strength, but if anyone falls behind, they will be mercilessly driven into the abyss. Many dog-headed monsters dressed in armor appeared in front of him and said that he should not be in this place. One of them said that they are soldiers guarding this place, no matter whether he is a man or a beast. If he comes here, only one fate awaits him, and that is death. The crowd of monsters held spears in their hands and told him to get ready. The dialogue box says, "Hellish soldiers, creature level above 15, cannot be more accurately determined." The main character thought in shock that these creatures with jackal heads were above level 15. He thought that he had no idea how to escape from this strange place. He could only fight with them, and another 10% chance of dropping a chest beckoned. The dialogue box says, "Air Scar Blade, attack plus 100, attack speed plus 100%, ignore defense plus 30%, wound chance plus 100%. A shadow fell on his face, and he hoped that the level 4 weapon obtained from the silver chest would lend him strength and help him cope with these monsters. One of the hellish soldiers, opening his mouth, rushed to the attack. A cloud of dust rose above the stone ruins. Qin Feng dodged the green energy strikes. Pushing off from the stone debris, he landed on the ground. The tip of the sword was rapidly approaching him. The main character, finding himself above the enemy, wondered if they sent him to fight him alone because they were looking down on him. He used the talents: Furious Strength, Increased Speed, Increased Endurance, and Fire Control. Swinging his sword, He thought that it would show them what happens to those who underestimate him. The hellish soldier blocked the attack. One of the monsters asked if the older brother really didn't need help, because it was beginning to seem to him that this man was not so simple. Another told him not to worry, because he had already killed about 10 of his relatives. The monster said he looked like he was having a little trouble. Another monster asked if he couldn't see that his older brother was playing with this man. He said he misses on purpose. Qin Feng blocked the attack, and the monster said that he was revealing his shortcomings. The main character swung his sword, and the monster said that it makes him think he can win, and then crushes him. The monster's paws were right on the protagonist's face. He thought in amazement that he had just disappeared. Shrouded in blue energy, he moved behind the monster. The monster's paw, shrouded in green energy, was approaching the back of his head. Pinning him to the ground, the hellish soldier said that he had some skills, but they would end there because he didn't have much time. He swung his spear, enveloped in a glowing green aura. Qin Feng pierced the monster's chest. The dialogue boxes say, "You have successfully killed a hellish soldier, gaining 10 justice points. You are the first to kill a hellish soldier. You receive 2 prestige points." The other monsters exclaimed in amazement. The main character said that in order to survive in this world, he cannot waste a minute, not even a second of his time. Taking the sword in his hand, he added, "Especially after receiving the mind enhancement talent, with which you can control the dead." The dialogue boxes say, "Infinite extraction successful, D rank talent obtained, dark manipulation, talent skill awakening, hellfire, worked. You have risen to level 2 judge." The hunt for the hellish soldier was successful, and a fragment of the dark seal was obtained. Catching the seal fragment in his palm, Qin Feng sighed and said that he trained like hell to learn how to control the weapon. Recalling how he swung the sword among the trees, he said that after hundreds of thousands of times, he finally understood something. Smiling ominously, he said, "Hidden murder technique." The hellish soldiers shouted furiously to kill him. One of them said that it was not time yet and asked someone else to go, because he had just done his nails yesterday and did not want to go fight. Another monster asked why he had to go fight, because he was the second oldest, so he should go. He replied that such a good opportunity to hone their skills should be given to juniors. The main character, looking at them, thought that something was wrong, because their comrade was killed, and they behaved as if nothing had happened. He wondered if he really hadn't killed him. Turning around, he thought that the Chengdao system had already informed him of his death. The monster, with flames gathering in its mouth, asked if it was looking for him. He shot a stream of flame, and the main character managed to jump to the side. There was a loud explosion. Qin Feng stood opposite the monster, holding his sword with both hands. One of the monsters told the elder that his caution was worse than before. The senior hell soldier, stretching his neck, said that they had not encountered humans for a long time, and he was careless. Qin Feng exclaimed that this was impossible. The monster asked that he was sure that he had received a notification from the system about his death, but for some reason he was still alive. He said that the Eye of True Sight should have shown him their name. The main character was shocked to think that he knew about the Eye of True Vision. The monster said that the soldiers of hell means that they came from hell. Shrouded in a green aura, he said that this also meant that they could not be killed. The main character spat on the ground. He asked where such confidence came from, since they were just a bunch of watchdogs. Charged with a flaming sword, he said that if he could kill him once, he would do it a second time. They began to exchange blows, rushing to attack, and the main character began to lose. Nearby was a stone statue of a rooster, covered in cracks. The first rays of the sun appeared over the horizon. One of the monsters told the elder that time was up, and they had to go. Swinging his spear, the hellish soldier threw the protagonist into a tree. He said that he was very interesting, and if fate dictates, they will meet again. Wiping his face, Qin Feng said that he underestimated these disgusting monsters. The dialogue box says, "The lost village links hundreds of thousands of newcomer villages, appearing in the darkness of night and disappearing at dawn." Looking at the seal fragment in his palm, the protagonist said that this also means that as long as he has the dark seal, everyone has a chance to enter here. He said that when he became strong enough, he would definitely come back and find him. Frowning, he clenched his teeth. A huge centipede monster appeared behind him. Qin Feng turned around and grinned. Sand centipede, level 12, combat strength 15 stars, extremely poisonous, blind, extremely good hearing. There was an announcement on the dialogue box. 2 people who have reached level 5 or higher have appeared in the beginner village. A regional communication channel will be automatically opened. The main character found himself surrounded by centipedes. A stone hand appeared under his feet, and he said that after increasing the amount of resources, Lu Xuan began to level up much faster than he expected. The dialogue boxes say, every 1,000 newcomer villages belong to one region, creating a connection with one region. Connection. The connection to the regional communication channel was successful. The newcomer village number 911 became the 47th connected village. People in the chat spoke arrogantly and with disdain about the 911 rookie village. Someone said that their Lord Omir Khan said to leave this duty of the holy god to them and village number 446 will destroy them. Someone said that Omir Khan has only 2,000 experience left until the 8th level and they will definitely lose. The stones crumbled in the man's palm. The dialogue boxes say, Rookie Village number 477 has forcibly joined Newcomer Village number 911 to the resource bid. The first one to reach level 8 in the beginner village wins the bet. A beam of yellow energy hit the ground with an explosion, and several dialogue boxes reported gaining 800 experience. A notification appeared on the dialogue box. Qin Feng from Rookie Village number 911 was the first to reach level 8. They win the resource bet. Picking his ear, the main character thought that they were a bunch of arrogant worm, and he only had one monster left to kill to get to level 8, and they dared to challenge him. The guy covered in blue flames asked what just happened. The other guy said that Qin Feng won. Someone asked if the emphasis on resources didn't just start. The river flowed quickly among the stones while the guys admired the main character. At the same time, in Rookie Village number 446, the dialogue boxes say, Rookie Village number 446 lost the resource bet. All resources of Rookie Village number 446 are halved. Omir Khan asked what was happening because they had just started the bet and it had already ended. The guy, on his knees, exclaimed that this could not be. He asked how they lost to the people from the land of the dragon. He said they had lost half their resources and many of their people would not be able to pass the test. Omir Khan, gritting his teeth, said that it was their fault and they should not be allowed to look down on them, so they must take revenge. He said that he would reach out to the area channel and seek help from their allies, as they too hated the people from the land of the dragon. He wrote a message, Alliance members, Rookie Village number 911 used dirty tricks to win this bet. Their resources have doubled, characteristics have also increased. They are becoming stronger and more dangerous. If we let them grow, they will not leave us behind. Help defeat the Rookie Village number 911. Several people were sitting on the ground around a girl floating in the air, shrouded in a green aura. One of them said that this person from the Dragon Country is leveling up so quickly. He asked if he had an S-Ranked talent. The guy with dark hair asked how people from the small Dragon Country could receive the protection of a god, since an S-Ranked talent is their divine gift. He said that the noble priestess would only care about the servants. The child, sitting on the man's neck, laughing, said that this old man Omir Khan only knows how to bend, and now he is also lost to the people of the Dragon Country. The man smiled slightly and said that these were the people of the Dragon Country, and it was not surprising that he lost. They were dragging a huge fish through the snow, and he said that he also met several people from the land of dragons. They are invincible, and he really hopes to see more of them in this world. The guy in the jungle asked James if they were using the bet token that the others had given them for Rookie Village number 911. James turned around and said that Miyamoto from Village number 5 had a rank spatial talent. He was a ninja, the first to reach level 8 in the first area. He said that he was afraid that the people from the land of the dragon might surpass him. Let him help them and find information about this guy's abilities. The people of the Dragon Country were cursing at the conspirators in the chat, and someone asked why Qin Feng was not answering. Someone else said that he was selling food and drinks to watch Lord Qin Feng teach them hands. Holding the monster in his hands, the main character said that their lord was burning alive here. Looking at the dialogue box, he said that he really hoped that he could get a water or ice type talent, otherwise it would be very difficult for him to stay here. A C rank token appeared from the chest. By activating this token, you can receive a C rank mission without a time limit, upon completion of which an incredible reward will be given along with a dark gold chest. Qin Feng said that first place in the Rookie Challenge gives a golden chest, but completing this C rank mission can get a higher rank dark gold chest. It looks like his mission will be quite difficult. Looking at the token, he said that since it doesn't have a time limit, why not just activate it and execute? The dialogue boxes say, Qin Feng used a mission token for the first time, gained 1 prestige point. Congratulations to Rookie Village number 911 for fulfilling the conditions for activating the mission channel. See rank mission, unlock the seal of the 5 elements, no time limit. Mission details, collect the 5 foundations of the kings of gold, earth, water, fire and sand. Go to the dragon slope, find the altar of the 5 elements, and open the seal of Rookie Village number 911. After releasing the seal, Rookie Village number 911 will be able to enter a more open world. After completing the mission, every newcomer village in Area 1 will be able to enter the big world. The main character exclaimed that this is a mission to open a map, and it turns out that whichever village enters the big world will receive a serious advantage and more resources. He said that we need to look at the details of the mission. The dialogue boxes said, you are supposed to head to the center of the abandoned meadow, defeat the ferocious mammoth, and obtain the base of the Sand King. Coordinates, Abandoned Meadow 398, 872. King Mammoth is the weakest of all. He is the easiest to kill. It is recommended to have a strong group with 20 people of level 10, so the chance of a successful kill will be 70%. Rubbing his chin, Qin Feng said that considering the leveling rate of the others in the Rookie Village, it would take at least 5 days to assemble a strong team of 20 level 10 people, so they would waste too much time. Looking around, he said that the burial desert was located next to the abandoned meadow. He asked why not pay a visit to this place and find out the situation. Liu Yan, hiding behind a stone, thought that she couldn't move. She needed to hold her breath and calm down. Behind her, a mammoth with an axe walked among the trees. Sparks came from the friction of the axe on the ground, and the monster asked where the human meat was. His eyes sparkled red, and he repeated the words about human flesh. Finding himself in front of the stone behind which Liu Yan was hiding, shrouded in a yellow aura, he shouted that he had found them. He swung his axe, and Liu Yan covered her face with her hands in panic. Mammoth Berserker, level 12, strength rating 15 stars, features, Berserk, Bloodlust, Defense. The mammoth hit the ground, and the main character, taking Liu Yan in his arms, jumped to the side. Liu Yan was amazed to recognize the main character. Qin Feng asked why she came to the 10th level ferocious beast realm alone. Liu Yan asked why he was here. The main character asked where her group was. The dead mammoth fell to the ground. Liu Yan remembered with horror on her face what happened to her group. Hanging her head with tears in her eyes, she said that they were caught, killed, eaten. It was very scary, and there was blood everywhere. Qin Feng thought that these are the rules of this world. The strong feed on the weak, and it seems that she is not yet used to this. Liu Yan asked if he could save them, because Lei Yu and the others were captured by these mammoths, and they said that they would eat them today. The main character said that he decided about salvation when he understood the situation, and she needed to leave here because she couldn't stay here. Liu Yan countered that there were many of them there and she could help him. Qin Feng said that her level was too low and she would not help him. Liu Yan said that she knew where they were and she could take him there. The main character said that there was no need for this, and he would find them without her help. Liu Yan desperately shouted that they liked human meat and she could be bait. The main character turned around and asked why, and wasn't she scared? Liu Yan said that her group is there. He is not obligated to save them, and they cannot blame everything on him just because he is strong. Smiling awkwardly, she asked to be allowed to offer her strength as well. Smiling, Qin Feng thought that it seemed like she was not so useless. Hands with black nails beat on primitive drums. 2 girls with snake tails danced. Lei Yu and his companions were tied to a wooden post. Mammoths danced around the girls. All this happened around a big fire. One of the mammoths, cursing, said that only 6 people were not enough, because even if they divided, when it was their turn, there might not even be bones left of them. Another mammoth told him to think positively, because if these people had not entered the teleport, they would have nothing to eat at all. The first mammoth said that Bo lay chased after the escaped man, and he has been gone for a very long time. He asked if he really ate it alone. Another mammoth said that he would not dare, because if they eat a person without the king's permission, they will be punished. They noticed movement behind the stone. Mammoth said that he heard the king say that if they brought back the escaped man, they would get an extra leg when sharing the food. The other mammoth agreed. The first mammoth, having prepared his club, said that it seemed like today was a good day. The walls of the pit full of dead mammoths were smeared with blood. Liu Yan exclaimed that she only needed to be bait, but she still received 60 experience. Qin Feng thought that after extracting the sandworm's powers, he could cut the skin of mammoths. He had to use mind enhancement to control to increase the damage. He told Liu Yan to close his eyes. Liu Yan turned away and he thought that the mind enhancement was using a lot of his powers, but the effect would be the same if he just killed them with his weapon, and next time he would change the hunting method. The dialogue boxes say twice: successful extraction, gained E-rank talent, increased stamina. The following dialogue boxes say, 2 identical talents will automatically evolve. Successful evolution, talent evolved to D rank, furious stamina. The main character, waving his finger, said that now she can open her eyes. The magic around them dissipated, which he said was a ring of protection that had just fallen from this mammoth, and if she was attacked, it would create a protective barrier. Liu Yan blushed slightly and looked at the ring. Qin Feng, looking over his shoulder at her, told her not to misunderstand him, and she would still be bait. It was just that her death would cause him a lot of problems. Liu Yan thanked him. Walking behind him, she thought that he had not changed at all, still as cruel on the outside, but soft-hearted on the inside. The mammoth swung his weapon, and the main character thought that the bleeding effect from the snake's poison gland was still useful against ferocious level 12 mammoths. Liu Yan looked in amazement as he killed the mammoth, and he thought that the hellfire not only calmly penetrated the defense of the ferocious mammoths, but also killed them. She stabbed the sword into the monster, and Qin Feng thought that the weak point of the ferocious mammoths was on the back of the neck. As long as their movements were limited, even a 4th level person could kill them. Hearing the scream, they both turned around. A crowd of angry mammoths ran towards them, shouting that the pathetic humans had ambushed their fellow tribesmen and would trample them to death. With his arms folded across his chest, the main character thought that he had new objects to explore. Raising an axe, one of the mammoths ordered to kill this man. Huge spikes appeared from the ground, and the monsters shouted that it was a trap. They flew swiftly through the air. The spikes pierced the mammoths, spraying blood. Smiling, Qin Feng thought that he already knew that some mammoths would notice their comrades missing and come here, so he set traps around. He thought that since they had come, they would simply become instruments for his ascension. Several dialogue boxes reported gaining 610 experience points for killing a level 12 ferocious mammoth. Looking down, the protagonist said that this mammoth was quite interesting, because it so easily cut through the sand centipede's spines, comparable to a 2nd-tier weapon. The monster, shrouded in yellow energy, rushed to attack. The dialogue box says, Mutated Mammoth Guardian, level 12, power rating, 21 stars, traits, frantic, bloodthirsty, protector. The mammoth jumped into the attack, raising his axe above his head. The main character's sword was shrouded in blue energy. Gritting his teeth, he struck with his sword, dodging the monster's attack. He thought that he was twice as strong as the ferocious mammoths, and he became numb after crossing blades with him only once. Swinging his sword, he thought that his skin was also stronger, but not so much that he was invulnerable. Shrouded in a yellow aura, the monster turned around and called him a pathetic person. The wound on his back began to heal. Stretching his shoulders, he said that his body had received the blessing of the king, and he would never defeat him, because all his wounds would immediately heal. Qin Feng happily thought that this was regeneration, and it would be great to extract this ability. Raising a sword shrouded in blue energy, he said with a smile that it was very impressive and practical, but he had a question. Instantly closing the distance between them, he asked if there was a limit to this ability. He unleashed a series of rapid strikes with his sword, blazing with blue energy. As he dodged, he thought that the strength and speed of his attacks was decreasing. Finding himself behind the monster, the main character thought that he hit 75 times. 60 of them he hit him. 5 hits were lethal, 15 caused a serious wound, 30 ordinary and 10 minor. He thought that the regeneration speed of small wounds was really fast. There was no point in them. He thought that it took 1-2 seconds for moderate wounds, 3 seconds for serious damage, and instead of the usual 5 seconds for lethal wounds, he now needed 15. The mammoth fell to one knee. Standing behind him, Qin Feng asked if his regeneration ability had reached its limit, because it was decreasing. Snapping his fingers, he said with a grin that it seemed his king's blessing was gone. The dialogue box says, apply Hellfire to Air Scar Blade, plus 100 attack. Blue energy surrounded the monster, and the main character jumped to attack. His eye glowed blue, and he said it was time to end it. Swinging his sword, he cut off the mammoth's head. The dialogue boxes say, you have successfully killed a level 12 mutated mammoth guard, gaining 1700 experience points. You are the first to kill it. 3 prestige points are received. The mammoth suddenly bulged his blue eyes. The mammoth with the staff asked the king what happened. The king said that the faithful guard had been killed. Liu Yan looked at the main character with concern. Qin Feng punched with the bracelet. Dragon elephant bracelets, defense plus 20, stamina plus 5, earth element resistance plus 10%. His impact scattered stones to the sides, raising a cloud of dust. Liu Yan, standing in the yellow magic barrier, wondered what happened because his mood deteriorated so sharply. The main character irritably thought that this was strange because he could not extract the ability to regenerate. Rubbing his head thoughtfully, he recalled the mammoth guard while Liu Yan looked at him in bewilderment. It dawned on him, and he exclaimed that if he couldn't get it out of this minion, he just needed to find his king. Peeking out from behind the stone, Liu Yan looked around. She saw 2 mammoths talking. Turning around, she said that there were more than 30 elephant heads here, and although he was very strong, he could still get hurt. Qin Feng smeared the blade with purple liquid, and Liu Yan suggested that they just quickly save the people and return to the newcomer village through the portal, because the monsters could not follow them. The protagonist's ring began to glow, and he said that he didn't want to disappoint her. Pointing his finger behind the stone, he told her to look there. There the mammoths walked in circles around the fire. The main character pointed his finger in the other direction. There were mammoths standing around a pole to which people were tied. Frowning, he said that the situation seemed very advantageous for them, because they could just suddenly attack 2 mammoths from the forest, and then silently rescue her comrades. That would be very convenient. He asked if she thought it might be a trap. Qin Feng said that the herd noticed that 8 of their comrades were missing, so they sent that group of mammoths after them, and if that group did not return, their king would definitely suspect something. He said that they left Lei Yu with the others where there was little security, pretending that they were minding their own business. He said it was all to lure them into a trap. Liu Yan asked how this is possible, because they are just animals. The main character said that the higher the level of the animals, the smarter they are, and it's common for them to come up with a trap. He said that if she underestimated them, she would sooner or later lose her life. Straightening up, he told her to stay here and not come close. Liu Yan said that he could not go there, because he himself said that it was a trap. Smirking, Qin Feng said that they had prepared this trap especially for him, and it would be a pity if he did not come. Liu Yan looked after him, holding out her hand, and the main character walked forward with long strides. He was approaching the mammoths walking in a circle around the fire. One of the monsters said that he had arrived. Turning around, they exclaimed that he had finally arrived, looked delicious, and they could not wait to feast on him. Heavy footsteps of monsters were heard. The mammoths parted in 2 directions, giving the main character the path to the king. Qin Feng thought that there were 67 fierce mammoths and 3 guard mammoths. The mammoths whispered how he could kill the Aoi guard. He looked like such a weakling, and he probably did it in a sneaky way. The main character looked at them menacingly. The monsters were scared, and he thought that they were discussing him behind his back. The Mammoth King chuckled, looking at him. There were 2 girls around him with snake tails for legs, and he said that he was finally here. Qin Feng said that he is the famous Mammoth King, and he is indeed very fierce and stunning. He thought that his combat strength was only 6 stars above him, and he expected more. The dialogue box says, King of the Fierce Mammoths, level 12, combat strength, 25 stars, traits, cruelty, bloodthirstiness, guard, territory defense. Laughing, the king said that people know how to choose words. Raising his eyelids, he said seriously that this did not change the fact that he had killed 14 of his subordinates, including a loyal guard, and their clan had been humiliated. He asked what he should do with it. Raising his head, the main character said that all this was done to lure him out, and he did not think that he would want to just kill him. The king, agreeing, said that he would definitely be more useful than the killed rabble. Raising his palm, he said that he respected him. Pointing his finger at him, he said that he wanted him to join him. Qin Feng tensed his eyebrows in surprise. The king said that he would forget about his crime and give him the title of guard, and he would give him everything he wanted: animals, medicine, food, women. He said that he would become the happiest of people. The main character said that before he answers, he has a question. He thought that he was inviting people to join him, and that was very smart. He said that he heard that in the other world, everyone is strong, like the wind, capable of flying on clouds, moving mountains, and even destroying half the world with one wave of their hand. He asked if this was all true. He thought that he had just made it all up. The king asked the priest if he knew about this. The priest, apologizing, said that he did not know, and he could assume that this master of people was talking about simple rumors. The girl grinned, covered her mouth with her hand, and said that only heaven was capable of such a thing. The king said that the world ends in this meadow, and the other world he speaks of does not exist. The main character thought that he could not recognize the Eye of Truth, and also knew nothing about the other world. Smirking, he thought he was disappointed, because he thought he knew better, but he was stuck in his own little world. Blue energy enveloped his blade. The king asked if this was his decision. Stepping forward, Qin Feng said that if he agreed to serve the mammoths, he would be giving up humanity, and he refuses to become a traitor. He grinned. Pointing his sword at the king, he said, "Unless you defeat me." The king looked at him, enveloped in a yellow aura. A dialogue box appeared in front of the man dressed as a samurai. Turning to Miyamoto, the man said that it was Omir Khan from village number 446. Miyamoto asked if it was something urgent. Omir Khan said that he heard that a newcomer from village number 911 with a C-rank talent is leveling up incredibly fast, and he is from the land of the dragon. He said that he would become number 1 in no time. Many squads wanted to befriend him, and if they allowed the Dragon Country resident to rise in the rankings, the R Country residents might have difficulties later. Interrupting, Miyamoto said that this was the 5th person to contact him via direct call. The guy said that he heard that this Omir Khan lost to Qin Feng and now wants revenge. The man said that Miyamoto has a powerful ranked talent, and he will crush this Qin Feng like a bug. The guy advised him to be careful, because these people do not have good intentions. Miyamoto, looking at the shards covered in yellow energy, said that it doesn't matter and they can do whatever they want. On the dialogue boxes it is written, "Emergency announcement. A bid has been started in Newcomer Village number 5. Newcomer Village number 911 has been forcibly annexed to it. The bid for resources has begun. Contents of the fight. The winner will be one of the first ranked teams from both teams. A mammoth with 2 sides, and the main character, bending down, dodged. Hitting it with his sword, he thought that it had a very strong defense. As he dodged, he mentally cursed and thought that if he couldn't hurt him, he wouldn't know if he had the ability to heal. Enveloped in energy, the monster swung its 2 sides. Gritting his teeth, Qin Feng thought that this was a magical barrier. The king, swinging his axe, powerfully threw him into the stone. Coughing up blood, the main character thought that this barrier, which he extracted from the mammoth, did not help at all against his attacks. The king said that he had high potential, his skills suited their clan well, and he was giving him one last chance to change his mind. Breathing heavily, Qin Feng thought that he was glad that he still had a backup plan. Raising his palms sparkling with blue energy, he said with a grin that if he wanted him to join him, they could do it this way. He leaves and he joins the mammoths. Thorns appeared from the ground around the king, and the main character shouted that he would be king. Cutting the thorns with an axe, the king, swearing, called him ungrateful. His eyes began to glow with yellow energy and he shouted, "Prepare to die. Earth." Qin Feng suddenly began to fall down. He opened his mouth and thought it was quicksand. He began to be sucked into a funnel of sand. The sand clasped his neck and he frowned, thinking that this talent of the Mammoth King was very annoying. Raising his head up, he activated Telekinesis, solidification. Looking at the one approaching him, he mentally asked him to freeze quickly. The sand froze, and the main character, exhaling, thought that it was very slow. The hardened sand crumbled, and he thought that he was almost stuck in the ground because of these pieces of dirt and sand. The king shouted, swinging his scythe. Qin Feng turned around sharply. The king hit the ground, and the protagonist jumped into the air. He shouted, and spikes shot out from the magic circles. Numerous thorns hit the king's magical barrier. Gritting his teeth, the main character said that he was hit by spikes engulfed in hellfire. The blow threw the main character aside. Falling to the ground, Qin Feng slid across the ground. The king asked what it was, because there was not a scratch left on it. Slamming his hand shrouded in blue energy onto the ground, the protagonist shouted that then he would do it again. Using hellfire, he shot a blue fireball. The king crossed his arms in front of him, surrounded by a stream of blue flames. His magical armor was covered in cracks. It shattered into pieces and his eyes widened in shock. The system reported that hellfire had damaged the target. Seeing the wound on the monster, the protagonist thought that he had finally been able to break through his defense, and his regeneration speed was much lower than that of that guard, or it was the effect of hellfire. The ground around the king became covered with deep cracks, breaking into fragments. A huge stone fist rose above the ground. The king waved his scythe, and a stone fist began to sharply fall on the main character. Qin Feng caught the stone fist with his hands. With his legs spread wide, he tried to activate Telekinesis, the hardening of sand. A red dialogue box appeared in front of him. Very few stamina points left. Using talent is now impossible. He fell to his knees and the king said that he admired him. But it seemed that his kindness had caused him to misunderstand something. Qin Feng thought that the hellfire was wasting too many stamina points. Hitting him with his stone fists, the king shouted that he was making him feel real pain. Liu Yan, watching the battle from behind a stone, panicked and thought about what she should do, because Qin Feng would be beaten to death. She thought that she needed to think of something, but that she could. She clutched her head with her hands, and thoughts swirled in her head, blaming her for the fact that Qin Feng might die, and she constantly brings misfortune to everyone around her. The voice told her to calm down. She raised her head, and he said that if she did not calm down, only death awaited her. She remembered how the main character told her that during the battle her stats would decrease when their value dropped too much. Her capabilities would be limited. He said that she could usually recover by resting or eating, but if it needed to be done urgently, she could eat spiritual plants or fruits, which would instantly restore her stats. His voice from the dialogue box said that the problem is that they must be used immediately after being picked, otherwise the effect will be greatly reduced. Liu Yan exclaimed that spiritual fruits and plants would help Qin Feng. With her hands folded in prayer, she said in the system that she is now with Qin Feng, who is fighting in a resource-based challenge. The situation is extremely difficult. He needs spiritual plants and fruits, so they need help. The main character was surrounded by stone fists, and people immediately became interested that Qin Feng was in trouble. One of them said that he never wanted to lose to these Japanese pirates and immediately sent his precious spirit plant Qin Feng. People agreed with him, and one after another offered their help. They said that they all believed in him. The system informed the main character that he had received many items from other players. The king asked what was happening here. The main character grabbed one of the plants. The king asked what trick he was up to now. Qin Feng brought the plant to his mouth. The system reported restoration of strength, endurance, and agility. Swinging his scythe, the monster shouted to answer him. A column of blue energy rose into the sky. The king covered his face with his hand in concern. Getting to his feet, Qin Feng asked what he was asking, what he was doing. Frowning, he narrowed his eyes. Shrouded in blue energy, he jumped behind his opponent and raised his sword up. Finding himself in the face of the king, he said with a wide smile that, of course, he would kill him. The system reported that hellfire had damaged the target. Touching his chest with his palm, he said that he missed a little. Opening his eyes in amazement, the king thought how a pathetic man could do this. A stream of blue energy pierced right through his chest. Qin Feng said that he originally planned to cut off his head with one blow. The priest and the other mammoths watched the battle in shock. A sphere shrouded in energy appeared from the king's chest, and the system reported receiving the king's core of the earth element. The dialogue box says, "You have successfully killed the level 12 Mammoth King, received 4,000 experience." The main character was surrounded by dialogue boxes informing him about leveling up. The mammoths, rushing to attack, raised their axes and shouted that they would avenge the king. The monsters surrounded him, and Qin Feng told them not to even think that they could defeat him if there were so many of them. Swinging his sword, he told the Tiangdao system to distribute the stat points. The system twice reported receiving 610 experience points for killing a ferocious mammoth. The main character's status window appeared on the dialogue box. A magic circle glowed under the main character. Jumping into the attack, he shouted that he was pleased to become stronger. He hit one of the monsters with his sword and received 610 points. He landed and the priest pointed his finger at him. Turning around, he said to hide behind the brothers and attack as soon as he killed them. The mammoths rushed to attack, and the priest, laughing, said that he would never be able to cope with so many warriors alone. The monster raised his sword. The main character frowned and looked away. Grinning, he used hellfire. Blue flames enveloped the monster, and the system reported receiving 1,700 experience points and a bronze treasure chest for killing a level 12 mammoth guard. Squinting his eyes and looking down, Qin Feng thought that the mammoth shaman was commanding this herd of mammoths, and this was in the way. Running into the Taka, he said that in that case he would kill him first. The shaman turned in his direction in amazement. The main character struck with his sword, but another mammoth jumped between them. Qin Feng exclaimed that he blocked the blow from his comrade. He asked if this meant that the mammoth shaman also had the ability to control animals. The system reported receiving 1,700 experience points for killing a mammoth guard. The shaman, trembling, looked at the main character. Pointing his finger at him, he ordered the others to attack him. The main character turned around, and the shaman, running away, shouted that he would see again, because he would definitely return with an entire army of mammoths to kill him. Qin Feng exclaimed that he had escaped. He threw the sword at the shaman, and it pierced his head. The system reported receiving 1,700 experience points and a bronze treasure chest for killing a mammoth guard. Frowning, the protagonist said that he distracted him to escape, and it seems that he is smart enough for such tricks. Looking at the rest of the monsters, he waved his sword and said that the remaining ones were not very smart. Hitting the ground powerfully, he said that he would kill them all at once. A violent blue flame rushed forward. Shrouded in blue energy, the main character received several notifications about gaining experience and items. Liu Yan watched in shock from behind the rock. Lei Yu and his comrades were no less shocked. They all wondered if it was a demon. The wind thought over the grass. Lei Yu and the others bowed to the main character and asked him to accept the items. He said that he helped them, but they have nothing of value, only this. The guys said that they were lucky to be rescued by Qin Feng, all as a token of their gratitude. They looked at him with sparkling eyes. The main character said that they are all low level. The guys looked down in disappointment. Smiling awkwardly, Qin Feng said that these spiritual fruits are not that bad. The rubber chicken suddenly began to scream. Everyone looked in amazement at the loud object. Lei Yu apologized and said that this useless item accidentally fell out and he forgot to throw it away. The main character looked at the object, rubbing his chin. The dialogue box says, Squealing chicken, level 0, combat strength 0. Features, very noisy, incredibly noisy, just one can handle 100. The objects turned into blue energy and moved into his ring. When leaving, Qin Feng said that he would accept these items, and the level 10 monster area is not the place where they should be, so they need to get out of here quickly. The man in the hat said that he was very touched that Qin Feng cared about them. The other guy agreed and said he was a very nice guy. Liu Yan thought that even though they had not been together for much time, she knew that he was the one who decided to become stronger than everyone else. Looking at his figure standing on the top of the rock, she thought that the place where he would go next was inaccessible to ordinary people like her. But it was okay, because she would be the same as the other hundreds of thousands of people like her, and would continue to watch him. Looking at the two girls, the main character asked what he should do with these nagas. One of the girls said in fear that they were just dancers. Another asked to let them go, because they never harmed people. The dialogue box says, Seductive Naga, level 10, combat strength 0, features, does not harm beasts, eats spirit fruits, relies on dances for high-level beasts to survive. Qin Feng thought that they were surprisingly weak. Touching the plant in the girl's hair with his hand, he thought that he had noticed this earlier. Frowning his brows, he thought that, as he thought, this was a plant from the ground. The system reported successful extraction. While showing them the plant, the protagonist told them to answer his questions, and he would let them go. The girls looked at the plant with tears in their eyes. Passing by them, Qin Feng thought that no matter how he looked at it, he didn't think he would ever need such strange talents as enchanting dance and flexibility of the waist. Imagining himself dancing with a snake's tail, he felt goosebumps running through his skin and clenched his teeth in horror. Looking at the dialogue box, standing among the corpses of monsters, the main character thought that he would first go further to complete the mission of the 5 elements, and along the way he would look at all the rewards received in battle. Looking to the side, he squinted. Someone said irritably that he was furious that these losers were accusing Qin Feng of cheating. Someone else said that Qin Feng is definitely the strongest in the entire first region and they are just jealous. The third person said that they allow themselves to be so arrogant even after losing. We need to hit them even harder. Smirking, the protagonist said that those who lost in the resource bet were spreading slander about him. Holding the bet token in his hands, he said that they would not admit defeat until they knew the pain themselves, and since it had come to that, he would show them personally. The dialogue boxes say, resource bid token can only appear once in the newbie village, and can only be activated by the person with the highest level. You have used a resource bid token. The main character stood on a large magic circle. There was a reminder in front of him. Each newcomer village only has 1 token. Each zone can only use 100 tokens. This is 79 bet. It is effective. Qin Feng exclaimed that there is also a limitation here. As he pressed the buttons on the interface, he said with a grin that it was designed to spur action by making the cowards hungry. He thought that just like Edward, Omir Khan, and Miyamoto, they dared to risk activating the tokens even though they were defeated, and those who received the resource bid token are weak, and would not dare to activate it out of fear. So they give them to the strongest in the village. The dialogue box says, resource bidding has been activated. Please select a bidding method. The main character said that fortunately he used it on time. Otherwise they would have missed such a good opportunity. On the dialogue box there were 2 betting methods, single and team, single bid. Select a newbie village, bid on resources, normal rewards and punishments. Team bet, you can select many targets as an enemy camp. You can also invite another village to the alliance, form a camp to start betting, big punishment and reward. Qin Feng exclaimed that he had been thinking about how to face more than 20 villages, and this was his chance. When choosing the team bet, he said that this time he simply had to teach them a lesson they could never forget. There was a reminder on the dialogue box. For something that uses a bet, the penalty for defeat will be doubled, similar to the reward. The system asked him to select a camp of enemy and allied villages. The camps were successfully selected. Bright lightning flashed in the sky. There was an emergency notification on the dialogue boxes. Qin Feng from Rookie Village number 911 used a resource bid. A command bid was being held in the zone for the first time. Team bet. The resources of the losing side are reduced by 70%, and 50 stat points are also taken away from them. The winning side's resources are doubled, and everyone receives 50 stat points. Determination of the winner. Killing ferocious beasts alone allows you to score points. Team killing gives nothing. The first camp to score 1,000 points wins. Killing a ferocious beast of level 5 will give 1 point, level 6 2 points, level 7 3 points, and so on. People in the forest and on the water raised their heads up. The guy exclaimed that Qin Feng is incredible and does not allow anyone to insult the people of the Dragon Country. Another guy, raising his head thoughtfully, asked about the fact that there was still a level 1 newcomer in their village. If the points would go into a negative value if they lose. He said maybe God would kill him right away. Another guy put his hand on his shoulder and told him not to be afraid, because they couldn't lose when they had Qin Feng. The guy with blonde hair agreed and said that he definitely had a plan to win. The newcomer villages were divided into teams. The dialogue boxes say, red camp, 3 villages, blue camp, 24 villages. The bet begins. The zone chat function will be blocked. The blocking begins. The guys turned pale in shock, their mouths wide open. The guy told Miyamoto that they had 12 level 5 people, 9 level 4 people, and 6 level 2 people. Frowning, he said that due to the decrease in resources, everyone's strength has decreased significantly. Among the 5th levels, only 6 people can kill the 5th level ferocious beast alone. Miyamoto told him to shut up, because if it weren't for Qin Feng's cheating, they wouldn't have lost. He said that this time the victory definitely belongs to them, because they have 24 villages on their side, while they only have 3. Taking out the sword from its sheath, he said that it was time to make them pay for what they had done. Putting his hand on the guy's shoulder, he said that if he loses, he will pay with his life, and he is the one he trusts. The dialogue box says, betting will officially start in 10 minutes, countdown. The main character was surrounded by open chests. The dialogue boxes say, mammoth cuff, defense plus 20, stamina plus 5, sand resistance plus 100%. Mammoth bracelet, plus 30 strength. Ring of enormous power, strength plus 25, sand resistance plus 100%. Mammoth Belt, Defense plus 70, Endurance plus 5, Sand Resistance plus 100%. Armor of the Mammoth King, Defense plus 110, Endurance plus 10, Sand Resistance plus 100%. Dark Shadow Boots, Agility plus 20. There was a blue fire in his eyes. The dialogue boxes say, Silver chest opened. You have received a rank 4 item, Spiritual Fire Liquid. Spiritual Fire Liquid absorbed, Fire Resistance plus 100%. Flame Control Talent evolved to C rank, True Flame. King Feng looked at his hands, surrounded by blue flames. Smirking, he said that the combat strength had increased significantly after changing equipment. Its status window appeared on the dialogue box. Running his hand through his hair, the protagonist spoke of a combat strength of 28. Running his finger across the dialogue box, he said that now it was time to challenge the next Beast King. The dialogue boxes say, C rank mission, solve the printing of 5 elements, no time limit. You have collected the King's Core, Sand, suggests leaving the meadow, heading west to the Ant Mountain, killing the gold-eating Ant Queen and getting the King's Core, gold. Tip: the gold-eating Ant Queen is a ferocious beast of level 13. It is suggested to form 4 teams of 10 or more people of level 10. Rubbing his chin, Kin Feng asked that he needed a team of 10 or more level 10 people. Was the gold-eating Ant Queen twice as strong as the Mammoth King? The countdown was 5.5 hours. He said that if this is true, he needs to do a little preparation. Poison, one of the greatest equalizers in human history. With its help, a weak girl can kill a strong man. One person can single-handedly kill an entire group. Some consider poison to be a weapon of the weak. Others believe that any weapon with which you can kill your enemies is useful. Ricin is one of the strongest poisons that is extracted from castor beans. It is 6,000 times more toxic than arsenic. 1 milligram is more than enough to kill someone. The most famous killer using Ricin appeared in 1978. An international spy used the tip of an umbrella, smeared with Ricin, to quietly and unnoticeably hit people with it. When the main character saw hemp seeds from Naga, he came up with a plan. Qin Feng raised his hands and head up, and the system reported the successful extraction of the poison element several times. Green energy flashed. It revolved around the main character, who closed his eyes. He said with a smile that this poison was enough to kill 2 or 3 walls of fierce beasts. He said that he would now try mixing snake venom with Ricin to create something more interesting. As a result, he got a purple unknown poisonous object. Qin Feng said that he would like to have a fierce beast nearby to test it on. He discovered a level 10 ferocious beast passing by. The main character with a menacing gleam in his eyes approached the beast. The poisoned beast fell to the ground dead. Smiling widely, Qin Feng said that 1 drop instantly killed a 10th level ferocious beast, and he was simply a genius. Stepping on the dead beast, he said that first he needed to prepare more poison, and then he would go to the mountain of ants and kill them all. The main character stood on the edge of a cliff. The dialogue box says, Iron ore, rank 0, one of the main resources of the newcomer village, effect, can be used for construction in the beginner village. Smiling, Qin Feng said that this is a good item, and he will just take it for now. He turned around. The ant carried a stone on its back. There were many large ants around the tree. The ant picked up a stone from the ground. The dialogue box says, Mental Devouring Ant Worker, level 12, combat strength 16 stars, feature, eats iron and other metals, fearless, absolute defense. An ant with sharp paws walked along the ground. Carrying a stone on its back, it turned around. Long sharp spikes appeared from the ground. Stones fell to the ground around him. The ant looked around in bewilderment. Sharp thorns rushed forward. The thorn pierced the ant's neck. The main character, scratching his head, said that after extracting his abilities, his combat strength became much higher, but it required more energy than before. Surrounded by dead ants, he said that although these things are not intelligent, they have a limitless will to live. A blue light appeared in his palm. He said that if he couldn't pierce their brains, they would continue to attack him even if half of their body was gone. The system reported gaining 620 experience points for killing a metal-eating worker ant. Qin Feng asked if it would be easier to use poison. He said that these overgrown ants are everywhere here. They move in large groups, and there is no way he can handle so many with his current strength. Raising his ant head, he said that he needed to figure out a way to gather them all in one place. Throwing the ant's head, He rudely shouted to the crowd of ants to come towards him. The head fell in front of a crowd of ants. The monsters began to make noise, waving their paws. Smirking, Qin Feng thought that he didn't understand what they were saying, but their screeching gave him goosebumps. Angry ants began to rush in his direction. Raising violet energy above his head, he told them to taste this freshly made poison. Smirking, he waved his hands downwards. There was a purple flash. Purple liquid began to rain down on the ants. The ants continued to climb the rock. A poisoned ant fell from a cliff. The system reported receiving 620 points for killing a metal-eating worker ant. The dead ants fell to the ground one by one. Multiple dialogue boxes reported gaining experience points. The main character said with a confident grin that all these ants give a lot of experience, and he will definitely win. The system reminded him that he had already received 300 points. Qin Feng told the system not to distract him, because he himself knows, and as long as there is a reward for it, he will do anything to win. The dialogue says that if his side wins, he will receive an additional reward. Gathering energy in his hand, he noticed something and frowned. The insect's huge leg hit the ground. A huge ant, shrouded in yellow energy, was approaching him. The dialogue box says, Metal-Eating Ant Commander, Mutated, Level 13, Combat Strength 23 stars, Trait, Madness, Metal Eating, Will to Live, Absolute Defense. Poison dripped down the monster's face. The main character thought that he was approaching. As he picked up the thorns from the ground, he thought that if the poison did not get into his eyes, then it would be useless. It seemed better to use it now. He pierced the ants with thorns. They fell from the cliff, splashing blue blood. Qin Feng exclaimed that they scattered to avoid being hit by the attack. He said it was naive, and at such close range he couldn't miss. The stone flew quickly through the air. The main character opened his mouth in amazement. The stone hit the ground, leaving cracks in it. Qin Feng, piercing the ants' heads with thorns, thought that this was to be expected from high-level ferocious beasts. He thought that he even commanded the other ants to close their eyes so that the poison would not get into them, and also complicated his defense by coordinating their movements. In addition, they began to throw stones at him from different directions to distract him. The rocks fell behind him, and he thought that the situation was not going so well, and since long-range attacks were no longer effective, it was time to change equipment and go into close combat. A sword appeared in his hand. The ant grabbed his leg with its mouth. Qin Feng thought that even the ants that were climbing the rock were just distracting him. Turning around with a grin, he saw ants behind the stones. Jumping off the cliff, he began to cut off the heads of the ants and said that with his mammoth belt, the armor of the Mammoth King, the protection of the magic crystal, and various healing skills, they might not even dream of harming him in any way. He said that since they were so helpless, he would become their worst nightmare. The system twice reported receiving 620 points for killing a worker ant. Qin Feng found himself surrounded by huge ants. The ant raised its head and screamed. They grabbed their teeth into the magical armor of the protagonist. Desperately waving his sword, Qin Feng asked what was wrong with these ants. He exclaimed that they literally wanted to bury him in their corpses. A column of blue energy rose into the sky, scattering ants to the sides. Dead ants fell to the ground around the commander ant. Several dialogue boxes reported gaining experience points. The main character walked forward, shrouded in blue flames. The dialogue box says, Cursed poisonous dragon Diobausices spotted. Qin Feng told the ants to watch his death move. A large stream of energy shot out from his palm. The energy penetrated right through the ant. The system reported receiving 2,000 experience points and 3 prestige points for killing the commander ant. Stepping on an ant's foot, the main character said that there was a lot of commotion at the entrance to their nest. Standing in front of a nest of ants, he asked why the queen ant had not yet come out. He looked deep into their dark nest. Yellow eyes sparkled in the darkness. The angry ant jumped to attack. Qin Feng indifferently killed him with a steel spike. Shaking himself off, he thought that he now had 800 personal points, and the village had a total of 867 points. And adding this together with the points of villages number 34 and 77, they would soon reach 1,000. Turning around, he said that he would check if he was still there someone else who can give him more points. Looking at the dead ants in front of him through the visual interface, he said that it seemed like there was no one else here. He stepped forward. The main character, entering the cave, said that the air here is important. The earth is soft, and it smells like chocolate. Looking around, he said that he once read in a book that ants secrete an alarm pheromone from their glands when they are in danger. Walking further, he said that it gave off a chocolate-like smell that signaled danger to others in the colony. There was a narrow passage in front of him. Smiling, Kin Fong said that it looked like they were preparing to meet him. The queen ant was sitting on a mountain of stones. She had a blindfold and long hair. Covered in sweat, she let out a groan. The ant below took the egg in its paw. The ants passed eggs to each other, lowering them to the ground. Other ants were eating stones at the same time. The main character opened his mouth in amazement. The ant above his head opened its mouth, and Kin Fong said that it was no surprise that she was ranked 4th among the 5 great beast kings. He said that with her incredible reproductive ability and loyal army of ants, even the 10 fierce mammoth kings would not dare to face her. The dialogue box says, Gold-eating ant queen, level 13, combat strength 30 stars, trait percent telekinesis, metal bending. An ant's leg touched the main character's shoulder. Reacting instantly, he cut the ant in half. Kin Fong said that it was close, and if he had not reacted in time, he would definitely have died. Because of the loud sound, stones began to fall from the ceiling. The queen ant made a loud noise with her mouth wide open and her arms outstretched. The aggressive ants all looked at the main character. The gray liquid on the ground began to bubble. Kin Fong thought that she used the mineral deposits and covered all the ants with black metal armor, and she is smarter than she seems. The ant queen pointed her finger forward, and the ants rushed to attack. Protecting himself from them with spikes, the main character said that outside the cave he had already killed more than 100 people like them. The thorns pierced the ants, and he swung his sword. While cutting down the monsters, he said that although these ants can bite elephants to death, but in front of the absolute power, it does not matter how many of them attack, because for him they are just experience that will give a new level. He lunged with his fist. There was a purple blob in his fist, and he told them to try the dessert he made. Hitting the ants with his sword, he said with a grin that he hoped they liked it. The ant queen watched in shock as he killed her subordinates. The main character chuckled. The queen, raising her hands to her face, thought that this was impossible. Kin Fong, pushing off from the ground, thought that the trash had been cleared away. Shrouded in a blue aura, he jumped up. Waving blue energy, he said that now she just had to accept her fate. The queen opened her mouth in fear. She spat a yellow substance at him. The main character thought that he could not dodge in the air and would have to take the blow. Gritting his teeth, he covered his face with his hands. When he landed, he thought it was strange, because there was almost no effect. He wondered if it was a hoax. The liquid was smoking on his hand. Kin Fong thought that it was corrosive formic acid. Shrouded in blue flames, he said that even his strongest magic crystal protection had been corroded, so this was the Ant Queen's trump card. He exclaimed what a pity it was that she met him. A ball of blue flame appeared in his hand. The Queen Ant spat acid. The main character waved his hands. Kin Fong's blue energy and the Ant Queen's acid collided in the air. The explosion of energy scattered stone fragments. The Ant Queen smiled among the falling stones. The main character's sword was visible in the cloud of dust. Jumping out of the cloud of dust, he swung his sword. Hitting with his sword, he shouted at her to die. He grinned, eyes sparkling. Kin Fong landed behind her. He looked at the dying queen indifferently. He told her to die along with her species. The queen extended her trembling hand to him. The light of the yellow magic circle enveloped her. The dialogue boxes say, successfully killed the level 13 gold-eating ant queen, received 6,000 experience points, 4 prestige points. Received mission item, King's Core, gold. Received a silver chest. Smirking, Kin Fong said that he quickly obtained 2 cores. Miyamoto cut off the monster's head by doing a somersault in the air. The guy told him that they got 62 points, and according to his calculations, their side only had about 600 points. Wiping the blade of his blade, Miyamoto said that given their progress, the possibility of his death had completely disappeared. Laughing, he said sarcastically, "What a shame." The man laughed and said that the land of the dragon would completely lose this time. The dialogue boxes say, Zone notification, Team bid, Red camp reaches 1,000 points first, Red team wins. Village number 5 lost. Each villager's stat points were reduced by 50. Resources were reduced by 70%. If the sum of the 4 attributes is less than 10, people will become crippled as punishment. Several players' rookie stat points have become negative, and they are dying. Miyamoto looked around as his stats decreased. The guy called out to him, extended his hand to him, and said that he could not move. People around him asked him for help, shouting that they did not want to die. He froze in place, looking at the panicked people calling for help. He fell to his knees. Miyamoto, crouching on the ground, said that they really lost. The ant crawled up to the main character's leg. Discarding it, he told them not to irritate him, because by killing them, he would also gain experience. The ant fell to the ground with the others. Looking at the dialogue box, Qin Feng told them if they wanted to avenge their ant queen, first become stronger. The ants began to talk among themselves. They went into a dark hole in the wall. The system asked the main character to wait because the reward would be calculated soon. The main character looked questioningly at the dialogue box. Crossing his legs, he said that he almost forgot that their camp had won, and he was busy killing ants, so he ignored the message. He said it was time to see what they gave him for it. Looking at the system alerts, Qin Feng said that it seems that a high reputation can be given a title, and it was not in vain that he spent so much effort on killing these beasts. He said with a smile that after killing the ants and their queen, he received 6 silver chests. He exclaimed in amazement, asking when he reached level 10. Noticing the mission on the dialogue box, he said that it hadn't been there before. The dialogue box says, "Congratulations on reaching level 10. Would you like to activate the future village leader mission?" Mission reward, Village Chief's Scroll, Golden Chest. The main character said that a C-rank mission with 5 seals gives a chest made of dark gold, and the reward of a D-rank mission is the same as the first place in the rookie trial. He decided to read the mission description. D-rank mission activated, Future Village Chief. Mission description: go to the level 10 zone of the Grave Desert, find the lost village, solve its riddle and kill the devil. Mission reward, Village Chief's Scroll, Golden Chest. Reminder, to be admitted to this mission, you must be level 10 and the title King of Newbies. The lost village is buried in the desert. You need to collect a fragment of the Dark Seal. Becoming the head of a village is only the beginning of its development. A leaderless rookie village will be dissolved, and the villagers will become refugees and lose the protection of the newcomer's wooden house. A village of newcomers can develop and grow. The head of the village can lead residents to build an entire city, a kingdom, an empire, even a divine monastery. Holding a shiny object with his fingers, Qin Feng said, "A buried area, a lost village that can only be reached by chance." Throwing it into the air, he said that he was glad that he had found the key to the entrance to the lost village, and now he only needed to wait until nightfall to complete this mission first. He said it would be great to have more of these useful things. Having caught it in the palm of his hand, the main character said that the role of the head of the village of newcomers number 911 would only suit him. Surrounded by blue energy, he said that he needed to prepare a little before going into the Grave Desert, and first he would use all the stat points he had received. His eye flashed with fiery energy and he said, "Add them all." Energy swirled around him, and Qin Feng said that this feeling of gaining strength was simply amazing. The system reported that the stat points had been distributed. The main character looked at the dialogue boxes with his improved characteristics and combat power, now amounting to 47 stars. He said that after receiving the enhancement of touch from the ant, he only lacked the enhancement of taste. And after extracting the D-rank frantic power from the ant general, it upgraded to true C-rank power, and now he has 5 times the power than before. He thought that he took away the ability to control metal from the ant queen. Now he can create armor on his body from nearby black ore. But they created the poison of the ants themselves, so he cannot extract it in any way, and this is a very big loss. Surrounded by spikes, he thought that after improving his control of metal, he could use it along with darkness and telekinesis together to increase the destructive power of piercing pierce. Qin Feng pointed his finger forward. After piercing several ants with one steel spike, he said that the use of spiritual energy was also reduced by half, which was a good skill. Snapping his fingers, he said that he still had an innate talent, releasing energy, shooting a powerful beam of energy. He said that it channels energy from the body to attack enemies, and it is something like an internal Kai that he can apply to a weapon, which will increase the damage dealt. While stretching, the protagonist said that piercing penetration and energy release is enough to deal with ordinary beasts, and using hellfire wastes too much spiritual energy. One must use it carefully. Laughing smugly, he said that he received many awards this time. Smiling broadly, he said that now was the time to begin the main performance. He said it was time to open the chests. He noticed the notification on the dialogue box. Luke Xuan requests a private conversation. Qin Feng asked why the second most powerful villager of the 911 rookie village was looking for him. Luke Xuan said that he had an interesting thing that he would like to exchange with him. The main character asked what he wanted. Luke Xuan said that he had a chest merging card and would like to exchange it for the Blood Wolf War Sword. Chest fusion card, level 2 item. Use this card to create a higher level chest from 5 low level chests. Reminder, the card works on chests made of dark gold and lower. Qin Feng thought that the chance of getting a level 4 item from a silver chest is 2%, while the chance of a gold chest is 98%, and the remaining 2% allows you to get a level 5 item. And if you compare, a gold chest is much more valuable than even 10 silver chests. Having taken the card, he thought that perhaps the others would not be able to get so many chests. So this card was useless for them, but he had enough chests, and it would be of great use to him. Luke Xuan thanked him. Smiling, the main character decided to start. He received the boots of the Wind God, agility plus 100, defense plus 50, movement speed plus 100%, fire resistance plus 100%, water resistance plus 100%. Necklace of Shadow Illusion, energy plus 100, allows you to use the skill, Shadow Clone. Shadow Clone uses a certain amount of spiritual energy to summon a shadow clone to fight for you. Reminder, a clone only has half the combat strength of its owner. The Shadow Clone skill requires awakening C rank 6 sense talents. The main character happily exclaimed that this was equipment with a level 4 skill. He said that he has 8 silver chests. Combining will give him gold chests. He should try posting a message about the exchange in the general chat. He put up an offer to exchange the following items: Bear King's Battle Armor for a chest merge card, Dark Shadow Boots for a chest merge card. Looking at the horizon, Qin Feng said that very soon he would meet the second night of this deadly world. He stepped forward. Quickly running forward, he shouted that he was already following them. Killing monsters along the way, he said that after receiving the boots of the Wind God, his speed increased significantly. Before the journey would have taken 3 hours, but now it only took him 1 hour. And when he reached the lost village of the Grave Desert, the entrance would already have to appear. He said that he first killed the monsters around him to gain experience. Then he tried new skills and got a bunch of stats and other things. He raised his fist and thought that he now already had 21,700 experience out of 230,000. The beginning of obtaining the next level had been made. His combat strength had reached the limit of 49 stars. After hitting the ground with a beam of blue energy, the protagonist thought that at the same time, he had reached the limit of extracting level 10 ferocious beasts. He only had to extract level 8 and 9 beasts. Holding the red bird's head in his hand, he said that it looked like he would have to buy a large number of their corpses. Clouds of dust began to rise above the ground. Qin Feng frowned and thought that it had begun. The sand began to fall down. The main character began to fall down. As he landed, leaving behind a trail of blue energy, he thought that he had landed better this time. He straightened up. A translucent rectangle appeared nearby. A paw with claws emerged from the rectangle. Smirking, Qin Feng said that they had not seen each other for a long time. The monsters, pierced by steel spikes, asked why he became so strong. The main character said that they say a person can change a lot in just 3 days. He said that he only came alone, and they were no longer his match. Hell Soldier, level 10, combat strength 20 stars, features, anger, absorbs blood, cruelty. Raising his palm with blue energy, he said that he remembered that he said that he was immortal, but he simply did not know his weakness back then. Shooting a beam of blue energy, he said that he had now found it. He said that he would see how he was going to be resurrected when he blew his head off. The dialogue boxes say, "You have successfully killed a hellish soldier, received 15 justice points, 1,000 experience points." A fragment of the Seal of Darkness fell out. Collect all 7 dark crystals, remove the seal of the demonic altar, release the demon and kill it to cleanse the village. Shrouded in green light, the protagonist turned around. The dialogue box says, after collecting 7 dark crystals and removing the seal from the demonic altar, kill the summoned demon and cleanse the village. The first 10 people from the Blue Star world to complete this mission will receive 1 golden chest and 200 stat points. The first 10 to complete the mission will receive double their current stat points. You are the 7th person to activate this mission, so hurry up, time is running out. The main character thought, the world of a blue star. Perhaps this is about our world. Stepping forward, he thought that 6 more people had received the mission. As he walked through the barrier, he said that it seemed like there were a lot of rankers lurking in the blue star world, and if he didn't hurry up, he might not make it to the top 10 in time. He looked at the purple mist that shrouded the ruins. The fat guy jumped at him, swinging his weapon. The dialogue box says, since Village 911 has won the resource bid many times, the mission has become twice as difficult. The combat strength of the evil creatures has been increased, as have the rewards for killing them. Village 911 is the only one for which the difficulty has been increased. Qin Feng dodged by jumping to the side. The man, laughing evilly, said that he too would die before him. The main character, waving his hand, cut off his head with blue energy. The man fell dead, and Qin Feng said that the level meant nothing if he had no strength. The dialogue boxes say, you successfully killed a level 13 sealed demon follower, gained 7,000 experience, gained 100 justice points. Congratulations on reaching level 11, you have received a dark crystal. Someone came out of the purple fog. The guy with dark hair grinned and said that this fat guy was just a piece of trash. Frowning, the main character thought, another one. The dialogue box says, sealed demon follower, level 14, combat strength 50 stars, passed. Used to be the rookie king, but was resurrected by dark energy after being killed by an evil demon. He thought that his combat strength was too high, probably due to the increased difficulty of the mission, and if he died here, he might become another demon follower. Rubbing his chin, he said that he was definitely stronger than that fat man. Pointing a spear at him, the guy told him not to compare him with him, because he is the weakest here. Stepping forward, Qin Feng asked if it was too cruel to talk about his friend like that. A column of blue energy rose into the sky. Rushing to attack with sword in hand, he asked why he didn't go and apologize to him now. The guy, blocking the attack, gritted his teeth and said that he was just a level 11 beginner. He lunged with his spear. The main character hit with his fist. His fist hit the guy in the face. He was thrown into a stone, and Qin Feng asked, so what? The guy said that he forgot to say that it was better not to touch him. He said that he can freeze anything he touches. He will not be able to move and will be completely in his hands. The main character's hand was shrouded in ice. Soon he was completely encased in ice, and the guy stood up, grinning. He shouted that to repay the debt for that blow, he would tear him into pieces. The tip of the spear was approaching the main character. His eyes began to glow with a dull blue light. The ice around him disappeared, and Qin Feng pierced his opponent's chest with steel spikes. The dialogue box says, you successfully killed a level 14 sealed demon follower, gained 8,000 experience and 120 justice points. You received dark crystals. The guy turned pale and opened his mouth wide. The main character told him not to approach him, because anyone who does this immediately becomes experienced to increase his level. An ominous silhouette rose above the stone ruins. Qin Feng said that the dark fog became denser after the demon's roar. Many pairs of legs walked across the grass. 4 followers of a sealed level 15 demon appeared around the main character. Smirking, he said that since he needed to collect 7 dark crystals, there would be 7 followers here. He asked where the last one was then. A girl with long dark hair grinned behind him, and the main character, turning around, was amazed to think that he had not even felt her presence. The girl smiled and folded her hands, surrounded by green energy. Qin Feng wondered what was happening to him, because he was very dizzy and could not move. Over time, he forgot who he was and where he was. The people around him smiled ominously, shrouded in a green aura. Standing among the flowers, the main character asked what this place was. Seeing a butterfly with blue wings, he turned his head. He saw a girl with long dark hair with her eyes closed. Qin Feng watched her movements in amazement. In reality, the main character was fascinated by approaching the girl. The woman said that this man's Achilles heel was his weak mind. The guy in the blue sweater said that he was finished because he killed Bing Chen and Bai Zhou would go crazy with rage. A girl in a white dress told the spellbound protagonist to come closer to her. Their hands almost touched. The followers, rushing to attack all at once, said that there would be no better opportunity. The guy in the helmet swung his battle axe and told him to die. The main character frowned. Finding himself behind the enemy, he swung his sword. The guy in the helmet was cut in half. Swinging his sword again, he stabbed the woman in the chest. Upon landing, Qin Feng said that the best opportunity to attack is when the enemy is distracted. The three opponents frowned tensely. The girl's face became covered with cracks, and she, gritting her teeth, said irritably that this man had fooled them, and the illusion had no effect on him. She ordered everyone to attack together, and the guys rushed to attack. The bald, mustachioed man waved two sickles. The main character kicked a guy in a blue sweater in the chest, and blood gushed from his mouth. He then grabbed the bald man who had attacked him from behind by the wrist. With a wave of his hand, he threw it into the stone wall. A girl in a white dress with an evil grin appeared behind him. Qin Feng turned around and said that it seemed like she was looking for death. Swinging his sword, he cut her in half along her body. At the same moment, only pink flower petals appeared in front of him. The protagonist thought in amazement that he felt himself cutting it. Flower petals began to swirl around him like a whirlwind, and he, taking a fighting stance, thought that it seemed that this woman was hiding among these petals. The petals shot out to attack. Qin Feng thought that there was definitely something wrong with these petals. They were blocking his view, and he needed to get out as soon as possible. He jumped up, and steel spikes pierced the body of the guy in the blue jacket. Petals floated in the air around the protagonist's feet. Suddenly, the petals began to gather together. The petals wrapped around the main character like a rope, and he fell to the ground. A girl in a white dress, floating in the air, said that she possesses not only illusions, but also earth magic. The main character's body was surrounded by magical armor, raising him above the ground. The girl said that he was quite interesting, because he was only level 11, and he could already kill a level 15 spirit without much difficulty. There were corpses on the rocks, and she said it looked like he had a lot of secrets. She said with a smirk that he was unlikely to tell anything, so she would just kill him so that the Spirit King would read his memories. She put out her palm with red energy. Thumbing down, the girl said that first he needed to be taught a lesson for daring to deceive her. The fetters shackling the protagonist hit him on the ground. The girl waved her palm. The main character flew right through several stone buildings. Gritting his teeth, he thought that she was very strong. He thought that he could not move his arms and legs, which meant that the only chance to attack would appear only when the crystal armor was destroyed. By removing the crystal armor, he thought that a gap would then appear between his body and the ivy. A blue flame appeared in his hand. The flames gathered in his hand. Releasing the hellish flames, he hit the girl in the white dress with it. Qin Feng landed in front of her. The girl, falling on one knee, swore and said that it hurt. She asked where he got so many skills. She shouted that he was a cheater, because no one can have more than 3 talents. Falling to the ground, she shouted that it was disgusting, and God should have gotten rid of it long ago. Calling her a non-entity, the main character asked with a grin how dare she say such a thing. The dialogue box says, "You killed a level 16 spirit, received 140 justice points, 10,000 experience." Among the blood spatters was a blue stone. The blue pedestal with the magic circle was surrounded by purple mist. The main character said that the spirits are becoming more and more active, and it seems that it's all about this altar. He thought that if he placed all 7 dark crystals in special recesses on the altar, this would remove the seal and release the spirit. The pillar was surrounded by blue electrical energy. Energy sparkled and swirled in the air. Qin Feng exclaimed that the seal's power was weakening. A powerful column of blue energy rose into the sky. He covered his face with his hand from the flow of wind. The system reported that newcomer Qin Feng had successfully freed the spirit. A status window appeared in front of the main character. The monster's giant paw hit the ground. Looking up in amazement, Qin Feng thought that he had never met creatures of such a frightening rank. The huge monster opened its mouth, sparkling green eyes. Demon of Hatred, Emperor rank, level 17. Combat power 71 stars, talents, unknown, abilities, unknown. Striking his hand, the demon shouted that it was he who killed his followers and ruined everything he had worked on for 100 years. The main character thought that just one hit, and he literally couldn't feel his hand, and he had terrifying strength. The demon swung his huge paw, leaving a trail of green energy in the air. The eyes of the main character reflected the monster's mouth, studded with sharp teeth. The demon hit the ground with his fist, scattering stone fragments. The broken altar was covered in blood. The demon said that he thought he was quite strong since he managed to kill 7 of his followers. Raising his huge hand, Qin Feng apologized for disappointing him. Lifting the demon's arm with his arms and steel spikes, he thought that fortunately, these rods were quite strong, and they appeared just before the impact and took half of the damage caused by this monster. He jumped out from under the demon's hand. He jumped to the side, and the demon thought that not only did he not die after his attack, but he was also able to move quite quickly, and this boy was stronger than he expected. Screaming, the main character rushed to attack, swinging his sword. Hitting the monster's leg, he thought that neither the wind seal blade nor the rods could penetrate his defense. He was thrown aside and thought that the power of the 3rd rank Hellfire was 10 times more powerful, but it was all still useless. Several explosions of blue energy thundered across the ground. Jumping out of the cloud of dust, Qin Feng decided to try releasing energy. With a wave of his hand, he fired a beam of blue energy. The demon blocked the attack with his hands, and the beam of energy was reflected. The main character landed on his knee. The demon said that the insidious people have quite a lot of strange techniques. Qin Feng thought that he had tried everything possible, but nothing worked on him. The demon rushed to attack, and the main character wondered if he would fail this mission. The monster slammed its paw on the ground, and Qin Feng thought that it was just a huge boss. It couldn't be that it didn't have weak spots, and it was definitely missing something. The monster landed on his feet, and the main character smiled and thought that he had not tried this before. He swung his sword and his eye flashed with blue energy. Swinging his sword, he found himself behind the giant demon. The monster fell to the ground with a crash. Qin Feng said that the movable joints of the bones are quite difficult to protect, and they have become his weak point. The demon shouted angrily that he would tear him to pieces. He used the shadow bonds and a green liquid appeared on the ground. The main character saw a red hand approaching him. He cut the hand, which disappeared into thin air, and a huge fist appeared behind him. The fist was rapidly approaching him, and he turned around in amazement. The demon's blow threw him far to the side. Blood gushed out from Qin Feng's mouth. He lay on the ground, enveloped in an aura of restoration. He thought that his strength had increased significantly, and one blow was enough to break all the bones in his body. Rising to his feet, the protagonist said that fortunately, he was able to take away the talent of that woman in the white dress, and her second-order healing skill automatically triggered the 3rd rank regeneration process, and the wounds healed in a matter of seconds. Wiping his face, he said that with this skill, even if his combat skills are inferior to those of his opponent, he can simply wear him down. The demon exclaimed in shock that he was still alive. Qin Feng said with a grin that out of the 2 of them, only he would die. The dialogue box says, in District 19321, newcomer number 74 killed the demon of hatred and took 1st place on the blue star. The main character thought that he needed to hurry up. He frowned decisively. Pushing off the ground, he jumped into the attack. Surrounded by stone debris, the demon roared loudly. 2 red hands were approaching the main character from behind. Frowning, he used a ghost clone. The red hands were confused, and Qin Feng thought that the ghost clone could only use half of the owner's power. But to use it, all 6 senses must be awakened and synergized. As he ran along with his clone in front of the monster, he thought that fortunately, before he removed the seal from the demonic altar, he managed to obtain 1 by Y fruit, thanks to which his taste abilities improved to F rank. As he struck with his sword, he thought that now all 6 senses were activated, which meant that he could use the taming skill and the ghost clone at the same time. The system reported that in District 1229, newcomer number 877 killed the demon of hatred and took 2nd place on the blue star. The demon fell to the ground with a roar. Pounding his hands on the ground, he asked why he was so strong. The main character was in the air among the stone debris. The demon thought that he had been watching him since he entered the village. Strength, speed, physical characteristics, and mental strength. All of these seemed to play an important role in awakening his talent. However, they could not be called outstanding. He thought that after he killed Bai Zhou, he muttered something unintelligible and something strange happened. He thought that then his body was enveloped in a radiance, and he could no longer see anything. He clenched his bloody, sharp teeth. The system reported that the member of the number 7 village of District 331 killed the demon of hatred and took 3rd place on the blue star. Qin Feng ran forward with his clone, thinking about hellfire, energy release, rods, and poison. Jumping into the attack, He thought that he did not believe that it was impossible to penetrate his armor with such powerful techniques. The blue energy sparkled brightly. The system reported that village member number 622 from District 1171 killed the demon of hatred and ranked 4th on the blue star. The man in the hat exclaimed in fear that there were only 7 places left, and he was very worried. The girl, rubbing her chin, said that this was very strange, because before noon there had not been a single case. But as soon as the first participant defeated the monster, one of the others began to win. The guy said that this demonstrates the fact that the difference in strength between the masters is small, which is why they cope one after another. The man in the hat said that the task of their village, number 911, is different from the others in its complexity, so it will be very difficult to enter the top 10. He said that it wasn't that he didn't hope that Qin Feng could enter the top 10, as long as he was okay, and in any case, he could try again tomorrow. Luke Xuan said no. Looking at the dialogue box, he said that he believed that he would definitely succeed. The system reported that village member number 911 from District 1 killed the demon of hatred and ranked 5th on the blue star. The main character sat up, stabbing his sword into the monster. He lay down on the monster and said it was tiring. The dialogue boxes say, "Congratulations to 911 Village for being in the top 10 and receiving special awards." After creating a village, the initial characteristics increase by 200%. As the difficulty increases, the rewards also become more valuable. Received 400 experience points and 2 golden treasure chests. Obtained a special mission item, the Heart of the Demon of Hatred. Do you want to know about the true state of things? The main character said yes. The final test for beginners is actually far from the final. A complete nightmare lies ahead. The protective barrier was destroyed, and heavenly punishment fell on the village. The guy, looking at the man with angel wings, ordered everyone to take their places and said that he was here. Even the strength of hundreds of people is nothing to this creature. Someone said that, as the head of the village, he could not protect it, just as he could not protect its inhabitants, his comrades and loved ones. He is the only loser. The frightened guy with the sword, breathing heavily, thought that this was very bad. He ran to attack, swinging his sword, and yellow energy pierced his chest. He thought he was worthless. The creature with angelic wings turned around and flew away. There were corpses of people left on the ground amid the raging flames. Many voices shouted curses and a desire to kill. The horned demon said with an evil grin that this is a very consuming hatred, and it can be worked with. The guy was shrouded in red threads and green flames. He moved naturally, stepping forward. Strong green flames appeared from his eyes and mouth. The main character, looking at the dialogue box, thoughtfully said that everything was like this. He said that after his death, the village chief was held hostage by a dark deity and turned into a demon of hatred, and this deserted village is the territory that was in his possession, and therefore heavenly punishment is the last test that the newcomer village will have to go through. He asked how difficult it was. He looked at the dialogue box in amazement. Qin Feng folded his arms and said that this could be a problem. The full moon was shining in the sky, and the sword fell to the ground. The guy sitting on the ground said that this rank 8 beast was difficult to deal with, and he almost died. The dialogue box says, District 9 and 321, Village number 74 was officially created and changed its name to Polar Night. The title is exclusive. The girl asked when Qin Feng would create a village. The guy said he didn't know and the whole ordeal had left him exhausted. The guy, sitting on a stone, said that they had already created their own village. The other guy clicked his tongue and said he didn't understand how they managed to get ahead of them. The girl said that if their task had not become twice as difficult in the process, they would definitely have won. The guy with glasses asked why don't they call the boss. The girl with dark hair said that she was calling him. The main character answered, and the people asked him when they would create a village. The girl looked at the dialogue box in amazement. The guy shouted to quickly find out from the boss when they will build the village. The main character said that before starting to develop the village, you need to come up with a sonorous name. He asked what they thought about this. After some discussion, Luke Xuan said that they, the people of the Dragon Kingdom, must retain the spirit inherent in them from birth. And every person, like a dragon, can soar and create. He said that 911 Village is a place that will make them famous in the future. And why don't they give it the name Dragon Pool? Qin Feng said thoughtfully that this is the place where the dragon hides, and it is a great name. The scroll in the air was enveloped in energy. and the main character said that they had come up with a name, and now it was time to move on to the base. A beam of blue light shot down from the sky. Lei Yu and Liu Yan watched the pillar of light from the forest. The village appeared after a flash of light. The dialogue box says, "The reward has doubled due to the difficulty of the task. Each villager receives 80 points. The village chief receives 400 points." The girl exclaimed that their village would definitely be able to pass the test. The guy said that now he will be able to kill even more monsters, and nothing will stop him. The guy with glasses said that they have new functions, and now you can return to the hut in one click. The dialogue box says, "Teleport from location to village." Villagers can use this function once a day. The village chief 3 times a day. He pressed the teleport button. He said with a smile that he would check it. The girl shouted to him to wait. A guy with glasses appeared in a wooden room. The guy with a gold chain exclaimed joyfully that he was back. The girl with red hair said that this function is incredibly useful, and it can even save lives in a critical situation, and there is also a reverse function. The guy with blonde hair said that in the hut, the speed of energy recovery is much higher, and with this return function, there will be no need to waste time on the road. The dialogue box says, "You can return to the position you occupied before activating the teleportation function." The guy with the gold chain called everyone to the square and shouted that they would have a big celebration. The red-haired girl asked if Ken Feng would join them. The system reported that the village chief had activated the public video broadcast function. Everyone looked at the dialogue box in amazement. Ken Feng asked everyone to listen to him carefully. He said that after completing the rookie trials, the newly formed villages must withstand the attack of the Heavenly Punisher, whose combat power is 100 stars. 4 people were looking at the dialogue boxes among the stones, and he said that his main task was to destroy the newcomers' huts, and once this happened, they would automatically become homeless and deduct 100 points from them. The mustachioed man asked if the newcomers' test wasn't enough. Another guy said that a combat power of 100 stars is incredible. The girl said in fear that their combat power barely reached 10. The main character said that if the village can give a worthy rebuff to the Punisher, then everyone will receive a generous reward, and if they are strong enough to defeat him, then the number of rewards will be doubled. He said that they had 4 days and asked everyone to reach level 10 as quickly as possible so that they could pass the test. Everyone agreed enthusiastically. Kin Feng, looking at the blue stone, said that, in addition, as the village improves, they can get the right to build a guardian altar, and this way they will definitely be able to defeat the Punisher. He said that in order to move to the first level, 5 conditions must be met. Raising his index finger, he began to list the conditions. First, the population is more than 500 people. This has been accomplished. Second, the headman must receive the title of aspiring emperor. Third, the headman's hut must be upgraded to level 2, and he will take care of these 2 points. People listened to him attentively while going about their business. Fourth, the number of first-rank huts must be at least 100. Fifth, the number of people who have reached the 10th level must be more than 10. Kin Feng said that the last 2 conditions are quite serious, and they must work hard. The dialogue box says, materials required to upgrade a hut from level 0 to level 1. 10 wood, 5 stone, 1 animal fur. The guy with blonde hair said they needed wood, stone, and fur. He told the others that they could split up and exchange what they could collect for the materials they needed, because it would be much faster. The system reported the end of the broadcast. Looking around, the main character thought about the materials. Grinning, he thought that it was rare to come to everything ready. He pressed the teleport button. The system reported that he had consumed 10 units of wood, 5 units of stone, and 1 unit of animal fur. The village chief's hut has been upgraded to a new level. Everyone looked at the hut in amazement. First level hut. The rate of energy recovery is doubled when the resident is in a sleep state. Tripled. Successfully completed. 50 points received. People immediately began to loudly admire the main character, and the girl shouted that she would improve her hut, even if it cost her sleepless nights. General notification. The number of new villages has reached 100. From now on, the competition to improve them begins. The main character dodged the attack by jumping back.